the TikTok situation. Perfect. I'm so excited for tonight, though. This is a very good topic. My glasses are dirty. I have tissues right here. That's good enough, I guess. These glasses, I think, are also, like, bent, question mark. So we're talking about Waffle House tonight. If you love Waffle House, you'll really enjoy this. If you hate Waffle House, you'll really enjoy this. If it was, like, not that big of a deal and it was a really long time ago. So if you're like, is this going to ruin Waffle House for me? Not at all. If anything, it'll make you appreciate it more. And if you're like, Waffle House disgusts me, I'm like, there's plenty of bad stuff we're going to talk about tonight. But I really stand by the title I gave this. It's like the best and worst of America, because there's really so, like, it's just so much to unpack. And I honestly could have included more, but we were already at like 80 something slides. So I was like, that's just simply all that we're going to be doing today. Oh shit, I forgot to open the game in another window. I'll just keep that down there. Sorry if my screen just did something crazy looking. What was I about to say? But yeah, I thought this topic was so interesting. I did this whole slide deck today, which like normally I try and not do, but it just was like so easy to put together in terms of like I had no shortage of ideas and there was like a lot of information out there. And yeah, we have a lot to talk about. We could have gone for 100 slides. Well, I didn't want to rush, and the videos that we're going to watch, I really want to watch the whole things. You're great at naming streams. Thank you. I just left an interview and was super stressed. This is perfect timing. My grandparents call it Waffle House, and while I've never been, I also call it Waffle House. You've never been? I used to go a lot as a kid. I haven't been in a while. I like it though. Like, it's definitely something I'll eat. I kind of feel like garbage after eating it, but it's definitely something I'll eat. Last stream, because I was supposed to see Kesha's last Tuesday, but then her show got postponed due to weather and I didn't even get to see her. That sucks. So happy to be here tonight. I'm going to see Kesha in like a month, I think. I'm so excited. I've been working on picking my outfit. If the show that I'm going to gets canceled for weather, I literally think I might end my life. And like, I'm kidding. That was a joke. I wouldn't actually do that. I like to go for dinner. It's always empty. Yeah, and we will look at the menu because someone said, like, are we going to get to know your Waffle House order? And I don't have, like, a go-to order at Waffle House. Like, there's a couple things that I like that's just depending on my mood. And we will talk about that. I am more of a nighttime Waffle House person than a daytime Waffle House person. My parents never took marinades and broths and like just things you don't think about that. Like, oh yeah, maybe this is a vegetable soup, but what kind of broth is it made with? A lot of times it's chicken broth. You know, it's just, and every time I see them eat, I'm like, wow. And they'll just eat a whole bowl full of vegetables wherever we go. And I'm like, yeah, man. My favorite person, thank God it's been a day. What's going on with y'all? What's in the air today? What's happening with this? Been looking forward to this since last week. We might have new friends here because I actually remembered to make a promo video about this, but it was like over a week ago, or it was like a full week ago, and I haven't talked about it at all since, so probably not. Late night waffle or afternoon? And then I don't always get a waffle. To me, their waffle is like, it's the stream, it's laggy. I'm lagging? There was a bad storm here earlier, is that why? I'm sorry. Now the screen went black. Oh no. Oh no. 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 Bye, Mr. Redacted. We'll miss you. Yo. What's happening to our Wi-Fi? Back? Interesting. Okay. I want to give it a couple minutes. This is very strange. I'm not even here to talk shit about Waffle House. I didn't do anything. Thank you, Kevin. Good on YouTube. Leave and come back if you can't see this redacted yet. I hate when this happens. Pisses me off so bad. Okay. Back on. I guess we're back. I'm scared. It's getting weird. Also, we just ate so much pasta and I keep burping. So if I burp throughout this, I'm sorry. But I kind of think that this is the perfect topic to be burping through. I feel like I burp every week though. It's because this is always right after I eat dinner. Okay. I'm going to give it a couple seconds before I really get into it. If tonight's technology is bad, I'm going to be really, really upset because this is a really good stream. But I guess the only way to get through it is to go forward. Did you end it or restart? I did not, but like my streaming platform did. So like I never closed y'all's window, but it said disconnected, attempting to reconnect for a few minutes. So it's definitely, if you were watching live, it probably said this has ended. But I didn't do that. This is just proof that technology hates teachers. You're not a boomer, but of course this happened. I need to get the fucking Ethernet set up again. I hate that my TV lags behind my laptop. God, this is horrible. We are literally in hell. If tonight's your first night here, I would say that this is not a true representation of who we are, but unfortunately this does happen like once a month. Sorry. I think we should go ahead and get into it though, because like I said, the only way out is through. So we're fucking rocking with it, I guess. Here we fucking go. So what the fuck is Waffle House? Oh my God, did it stop again? Mine didn't say it stopped. Mr. Redacted, happy to be back. I've been in an ED treatment program that kept me from coming to Tuesday's stream, but I'm about to graduate from it. Oh my gosh, thank you, Megan. And congratulations, or like, nice work. I'm proud of you, graduation. Like, great. Everyone give Megan her flowers. I really, really, really hope that it didn't cut out while I was just talking about that. I took a screenshot of it. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. Oh my God, that's so exciting. And you've been here for 38 months. Like, I've really been a constant in your life and you've been a constant in mine. Go, Megan. Okay, while we still see if technology hates us, I am going to do a poll. Have you been to... Damn it. Okay. This is really pissing me off. Son, don't do it. You're so sexy. Denny's must be... I wonder if you restart your Wi-Fi router. I don't even fucking know. Like, I don't know if that's the problem. This is upsetting. And it says I already have a poll active, but I don't. Still frozen. It makes me so mad because I just feel so out of control because there's literally nothing I can do. Like, there's nothing I can do. I've got nothing. Like, simply got nothing. And then not to be like, I care about the numbers, but like, obviously it's not good for numbers. Like, obviously 30 people left. Obviously, I would. Like, I can't even be mad. Well, I see I haven't missed much. Yeah, you've just missed 13 minutes of me fighting for my absolute fucking life. It's the purple app's fault. Is like Twitch down? Let me see if maybe is Twitch down. Is that it? Because now I'm thinking maybe should I like stop the stream? No, not at Twitter. Now I'm thinking maybe should I stop the stream and then do it just on YouTube? Yeah. Okay, it does say that Twitch is like having problems right now. Okay, so if you're having issues, go to YouTube right now. Like, go to YouTube right now. Like, it seems like Twitch is the one having problems, not me, because I was about to say, like, yeah. Okay, so this is the plan, and this is the vibes. And on YouTube, I don't think you have to have an account. I'm just gonna keep going. If it gives me a problem again, then I think I might just go through YouTube and figure that out. And if it's truly fucking horrendous, then we'll just pivot. Like, we'll just fucking pivot, and we're gonna pivot. And it's fine. I hate when you have to switch classrooms midday. No, like, that's really what this is giving. And tonight is such a good fucking stream, and it's just making me sad that technology's not on our side. Here from Twitch, I really appreciate y'all. Oh my god, y'all came here so fucking fast. Miss Resourceful. Stay here for now since YouTube has my real human name. Oh god, YouTube is working over. Okay, good to know. And for those of you on Twitch, if it's working for you, no problem from me. If you like it, I love it. So let's just go ahead and get started. We've been here for 15 minutes. This fucking sucks. It's been years of me being mad at Twitch for being a pain, and I don't know why I didn't move to YouTube forever ago. I just started streaming on YouTube very, very recently, so that's probably why. So what the fuck is Waffle House? This is an American restaurant chain. They have over 2,000 locations. They're in 25 states of the US. They're mostly in the South. It says in the Midwest, but it's mostly the South, where the chain is a regional cultural icon. It's mainly Southern breakfast food, and their headquarters is in Norcross, Georgia, which is a suburb of Atlanta. So this is the restaurant that we are talking about tonight. It has been open since 1955, and the first location was in Avondale Estates, Georgia, which is also a suburb of Atlanta. It's on the east side of Atlanta, I believe. This is the original location. Today, this location is now a museum. But yeah, just to give you a little bit of the lore, this is the historic sign outside of the original location. At this location on Labor Day 1955, Avondale Estates neighbors Joe Rogers and Tom Faulkner. Faulkner is quite a last name. Faulkner's quite the last name. Founded the first Waffle House restaurant. The name was inspired by the most popular item on the original menu. The restaurant's focused on fast food speed and round-the-clock service reflected the mid-century societal shifts towards an automobile culture. If you have watched my streams about like the 1950s and car culture and things like that, you know exactly what they're referring to. As the suburbs and interstate system developed throughout the region and the nation, Waffle House grew to include over 1,600 locations nationwide. This is an old sign. Like I said, I think it's now 2,000. Becoming an American cultural icon, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In 2004, Waffle House reacquired the original restaurant and opened it as a museum in 2008. You cannot just go to this museum. It's like private only. Y'all are quiet on YouTube. YouTube is quiet. YouTube is definitely the quiet kids in the class, but I'm not having issues now, so we'll see. So yeah, what was I going to say? Like, I thought you could just like go here. I looked it up. No, they only do like field trips and like events and stuff. I don't think you're a museum at that point. I just don't think you are. So this is straight from the Waffle House website, our story. In 1955, World War II ended in 1945, just to give you a context of what's going on in the world at this time. Two Georgia neighbors opened up a restaurant that would change the world. They were living in Avondale Estates, Georgia, when they decided to open a 24-hour sit-down restaurant for their friends and neighbors, focused on people on both sides of the counter, meaning their employees and their customers. The first restaurant opened the door to create the Waffle House brand you see today. As this movement began to expand, new restaurants were built in Georgia as well as neighboring states, and the yellow sign became a familiar landmark along city streets and interstate highways across the country. They have a gazillion locations. They're still open 24/7. More than that, Waffle House has always been about the people Joe and Tom cared about in 1955, our associates and our customers. Waffle House was founded on the principles of providing the friendliest service in town while also offering the opportunity for rewarding and quality careers. Today, Waffle House continues to provide, this is again from their website. So if you're like, wow, misredacted, this is reading as corporate propaganda, it is literally corporate propaganda from their website that I'm reading to you. There will be non-corporate propaganda tonight as well. You know me. Where was I? Career opportunities for more than 40,000 associates. These associates are the Waffle House to their customers. They provide customers with a unique experience that keeps them coming back for more. Whether you all are a Waffle House regular or this is your first time experiencing our restaurant, we welcome you with open arms. You are now a part of our Waffle House family. We aren't in the food business, we're in the people business. She says they only do field trips, as if we aren't a class who would love a field trip. That's actually a phenomenal idea. I actually am going to contact them and be like, can I come there, just me, and just film it? Can I live stream from your museum? If I had planned this further in advance, I maybe could have made that happen, but I'm just going to be like, hey, do you think they make food in the museum or is the kitchen closed? I've looked into this extensively. So yes and no. Like I said, you have to book a tour there, but part of the tour is like you make things with them using the equipment and they show you like stuff that they don't serve anymore, and like it's like a person comes, I think like from corporate, and like really does it up. It seems like something, I was looking at their website when I was making this, it seems like something that's very much like corporate bonding day. It didn't seem super children-y to me. Most of the pictures I saw were of adults, and it was like a super fun corporate bonding day or like whatever. Like, I saw a bunch of pictures from, like, a real estate brokerage that took all their employees there. And, like, that, to me, I would enjoy that as a corporate bonding day. Like, we get to learn about Waffle House and make waffles. Like, they were making, like, Oreo waffles and stuff. And I was like, oh, I would go to that. I would like that. But maybe they'll let me just go. I'm mad. You guys. I'm sure you have to pay for it. I'm sure it's expensive as fuck. But what if I tell them, like, oh, it's a field trip. It's a field trip. And I like pay and everything. And then it's just me that shows up. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the field trip. And I make the person do like a 1-person audience thing. I think that could really be going somewhere. So here's some pictures from the original Waffle House era in 1955. I'm not sure when Waffle House integrated. I probably actually could have looked it up. I didn't think about this till right now looking at these photos. Because if you notice on the top left, that is an all-white staff. But then if you notice later, it is an integrated staff. So let me Google it. My fiance was like, oh, is tonight going to be a long stream? And I was like, probably not. And here we are. When did Waffle House integrate? I'll ask the real fucking questions. Same time as most other people. 1964. Okay. Interesting lore that I just found out. Just keep telling them all the kids got detention, so you have to live stream it to them. Like the homeschool teacher from Ned's Declassified. This is what it says. It says, the company claims it was never formally segregated. So I guess it was just up to the manager on duty, which is a crazy policy. There were sit-in demonstrations at the restaurant, and one of the founders, Joe Rogers, diffused the protest by asking everyone to come inside and sit down and cooked for them. So, like, it doesn't seem like they were like, we are going to take a stand for equality. But it does seem like when there was racial tension at their Waffle House with a sit-in protest, they were like, everyone just like, come in, let's eat, everyone chill the fuck out a little bit. So, okay, that could have been better, but it could have been a lot worse. I was afraid I was going to Google it and it was going to be like Waffle House versus Supreme Court or something like that. Horrible. So here's some more pictures from some of their older days. The uniforms are pretty cunty. I do really like them. So these are the two founders. They are old. Are they still alive? I don't know. I didn't look that up. I'm going to hope that they are. They're probably, maybe, I don't know. Joe Rogers is a little bit too close to Joe Rogan as a name. Waffles can fix this. No, and I literally think that's probably the best way to handle that. Like, it would have been better if before that they had been like, we stand for integration. Black customers are welcome at Waffle House. If you don't like it, get the fuck out. But better late than never, I guess. So who are the founders? If you know me, I am going to make a connection between your young adult life trauma and the business you started that's now a major corporation. So let's start with Joseph Wilson Rogers. Literally could not think of a more traditional white man American name. Yes, that's 1964 is the year that the Civil Rights Act was enacted, so that's why they integrated at the same time as everybody else. They said, don't get stressed. Let's have it figured out over waffles. So he was born in 1919. He's lived through the Great Depression, because we're going to talk about a lot about their company culture, and I think their company culture goes back to the psyche of the two founders. And these are men that lived through the Great Depression and then fought in World War II. So like that trauma response to business pipeline, yes, like that is where I'm at in this conversation. That's why I said like it's Waffle House, but make it sociology. I guess that's psychology. So he went to Jackson High School. He graduated high school in 1938. To be in high school during the Great Depression, Jesus fucking Christ. This water's good. During World War II, he served as a United States Army Corps and was a B-24 pilot reaching the rank of captain. So it seems like he kind of crushed it at war. I don't really know that much about the military, but it seems like he was doing really good from what I'm gathering. So he started in the restaurant business as a short order cook in 1947. So you're born in the 1920s. Prohibition and organized crime are ruining our country. Then it's the Great Depression. Then you go fight in World War II, and then you come back and you're a short order cook at the Toddle House in Connecticut. I don't know what the Toddle House is, but it doesn't sound glamorous. So by 1949, he became a regional manager. So in 2 years, he went from a short order cook to a regional manager. To be a white man in the 40s and 50s, goddamn. So then he moved to Atlanta to be the regional manager. That's where he met Tom Faulkner, because Tom Faulkner was a real estate agent and he bought a house. That's how they met. So Tom Faulkner, this is the other founder. He was born in Hawkinsville, Georgia in 1918, so about the same age. He was the fifth of 7 children. Jesus fucking Christ. Also lived through the Great Depression. He graduated from Young Harris Junior College before getting a law degree from the Woodrow Wilson College of Law, whatever the fuck that is. He was the son of a real estate agent, and he practiced law until being called to serve in World War II. So you're practicing law. You're a practicing lawyer. Oh, you've been hired. War! Like, that's why whenever I feel depressed about like the state of affairs around us and like the state of our country and stuff like that, I think about how I would feel if literally I was just like beat bopping along in my life and then I got fucking drafted. Are you kidding me? What do you mean? That's not in my timeline. What are you talking about? It doesn't say he was drafted, but called to serve doesn't really sound like it was an option, and he was a fucking lawyer. So like, who would be like, oh yeah, let me leave my high-paying office job to go war? Daddy Gov said, you're one of my elite employees. I feel like the men who got drafted don't talk about it enough. I think getting drafted is so inherently undemocratic, and it's crazy to me that it has happened so many times. So anyway, he got called to serve in World War II. Just notice you don't have a fun drink today. I had a Baja Blast shortly before this while I was working out. Not just like, oh, we're going to put you on the front lines. He was an intelligence officer for the Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project is where they developed the atomic bomb that we dropped on Japan. So like, he was doing some real ass fucking shit. Like, that was a very top secret. Ethics aside, that's like crazy. Like, that's a very, very high up position. And again, if you've seen Oppenheimer, you know the ethics of that are And it's a bomb. I think you probably could have just figured that out. So he trained at Camp Ritchie and is considered to be a Ritchie boy. This is a group who was responsible for uncovering 2/3 of intelligence in the European affair. But I guess he was on the Manhattan Project part, but he was a part of this like important intelligence group. So yeah, like crazy as hell. So when it says he was called, I don't know if he was drafted like regular or if he was just like a good lawyer. So the government was like, hey, we need a favor. I don't really know what happened there. I tried to find out. I didn't look that hard, but didn't see anything. So anyway, he comes back from the war and takes over his father's real estate firm, which is how he met Joe Rogers, because he sold him a house. So yeah. So more on their military service. I assume they really bonded over this. They were born only 1 year apart. They both had served in the military in the same war. I can imagine that is a very fast way to make friends with someone because you like have this shared trauma experience. So this is a little more detail. This is from a veterans website article about them. It was like a spotlight on successful veterans. So, like we said, Tom Faulkner joined the military and served in military intelligence based out of Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And he was drafted into the Army in 1941. He was drafted. He covertly worked to transport valuable products from a Tennessee facility to Los Alamos. Los Alamos was the laboratory, I think it was in New Mexico, one of the out west ones. So his job was, I guess, to be moving like supplies to build the fucking bombs between these two locations, which like, yeah, that is like top secret information and you have to cross a whole bunch of state lines. So some people might ask some questions. So like we said, this was his job until he went home to take over the real estate business. Joe Rogers enlisted in the Army Air Corps when he was 16. That math didn't add up perfectly. So I don't know who the fuck made a mistake, but somebody did. The bulk of his service was as a pilot. His service ended in 1945, and he was a pilot instructor with the 8th Air Force at the Smyrna Airfield. Smyrna is also outside of Atlanta. And he achieved the rank of captain. And like we said, they met in 1949 when Rogers moved to Georgia for his job at that restaurant chain where he was a regional manager. So isn't it fucking crazy that if we didn't have Pearl Harbor, we wouldn't have Waffle House? Do you think about that? This is how I think about everything always. And I think that that's just wild that like Pearl Harbor in a way created Waffle House. So, where was I? They were inspired by McDonald's, and then, like we said, Rogers was the regional manager of a chain of diners. So, like, he knew the fucking business, and he proposed that he and Faulkner go into business for a quick service sit-down restaurant. And Faulkner originally was like, let's open a fucking Toddle House, which is where he worked. But Rogers was like, I don't really think that's right for this market. And after Faulkner secured the property, they developed the concept of Waffle House because they felt like it was better for the Atlanta market, I guess. So Faulkner proposed naming it after the most profitable item on the menu, which is fucking genius. That's so genius that you're like, what product do we make the most money on? Waffles, because they're very, very cheap to make. It's literally just batter. Waffle House, because then we'll be known for our waffles and then we'll make a ton of money. I also I know I probably don't seem like it because I always talk about how capitalism is evil, but I really do admire good business models because my family works in business stuff. So I've seen a lot of shitty business models. And so when I see a good one, I'm like 9/11, 50 Shades of Grey, Pearl Harbor to Waffle House. So they decided to keep a 24-hour schedule, and the first one opened in 1955, like we said. This is low-key kind of confusing, but I felt like it was relevant to mention. So Rogers continued to work with Toddle House. So even though he opened Waffle House, he still has his job at Toddle House. And then to avoid a conflict of interest, Rogers sold his interest to Faulkner. So he sold his interest to his partner. So they started it together in 1955. And then in 1956, he sold him his half, which is very strange and odd to me. Can you hear this? I'm kind of fidgeting with a piece of plastic. I guess I should stop. But then Rogers wanted to buy into Toddle House because I guess he wanted to have his own franchise or own a piece of the business. And Toddle House was like, fuck you, Rogers. We're not going to let you buy into it. This is in 1960. So Rogers moved back to Atlanta and rejoined Waffle House. And at this point, they now had 3 locations. So it seems like they low-key broke up for a couple years. And then shortly after Rogers returned full-time, Faulkner followed, and he sold his realty firm, and they both worked on Waffle House full-time. So I guess it was like a side hustle for them. Again, to be a white man in the 50s, that a whole ass restaurant is a side hustle. And then they were like, I guess now we want to commit? Yeah, I just thought that was a little bit odd and random. So they grow super fast. They opened their 4th restaurant in 1960, and then they began franchising. So the difference between a chain and a franchise is like, let's say I founded like Miss Redacted's coffee shop. If I open multiple new locations and I own and control all of them, that's one thing. A franchise is if you want to open a Miss Redacted coffee shop and I say, okay, here are my recipes, here's my logo, here's the menu, here's all this. You are the owner and you run it, and I do not come there. That's a franchise. So a little bit of a different business model. So now they're franchising, which is a bigger, stronger way to make money. And they slowly grew to 27 stores by the late 1960s before growth was even accelerated more. And there is a urban myth that the doors don't have locks because they're literally open 24/7, 365 days a year. So everyone's like, yeah, the doors don't lock. They do have locks. If you've been to a Waffle House, you can look at the door handle and it has a lock on it because there's like emergencies and things of that crime, like things happen. So they do have locks. They claim to be the world's leading seller of several menu items. They say they're the #1 seller of waffles. They also make a lot of claims about pork chops, grits, T-bone steaks. They also claim that they serve 2% of all eggs in the United States. And when we had like the egg prices soared, they never went back down to pre-levels, by the way, but they started charging an extra 50 cents per egg, I think, and I think they just stopped it or they just announced it. So this is a little bit outdated. This is 2022, but this is the locations in every state. So like in Florida, we would go to Waffle House all the time. Like when I was in college at FSU in Tallahassee, Florida has a ton of locations. Obviously Georgia has the most. That's where they were founded. They have 433. And then some states like New Mexico and Arizona, they're starting to branch out there. They're getting a little bit more. But if you look, and it is a question in the game, they are primarily in the Southeast. That is by far where they're the best known. That one thing also said the Midwest. I don't really believe that. Like, look, it's all light blue. Not for me. T-bone steaks, yes, they do have very cheap steaks there. And they low-key started Chick-fil-A. I had no idea about this. In the 1960s, Truett Cathy was the owner of a diner called the Dwarf House, which was like Chick-fil-A before Chick-fil-A. And he contracted with Waffle House to sell the chicken sandwich. The chicken sandwich. He was like, I want to sell that shit. But then it was so popular at Waffle House that Waffle House was like, we don't want to sell your sandwich because it's fucking with our stuff. And then this prompted Truett Cathy to spin Chick-fil-A into its own fucking restaurant. Isn't that crazy? Also, while we're talking shit about Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A is not the original to say my pleasure. They took that from the Ritz-Carlton. The Ritz-Carlton offers corporate training. Like if I'm starting a business, I can hire the Ritz-Carlton to create training stuff for my employees. Chick-fil-A did that, and the Ritz-Carlton was like, you should say my pleasure, because they've done that forever. And now it's like known with Chick-fil-A. Isn't that interesting? They sold their sandwiches to evangelical Christians. So their brand is stolen and homophobic. And their grilled nuggets are very good. And I don't know what they're putting in there that other restaurants cannot figure out, but they need to figure it out. They didn't mention Waffle House in my CFA orientation. Exactly. They don't give credit where credit's due. They don't do it with my pleasure either. They're trying to erase the history, and I don't appreciate it. So this would be the world where you could get that chicken sandwich without the homophobia on a Sunday. Could you imagine? So Pearl Harbor got us Chick-fil-A. Could you imagine? Sunday, you wake up hungover. You don't want to think about God. You want to go to Waffle House and eat that chicken sandwich. I'm going to hell for buying their sauces at the grocery store. Oh my God, I know. I have the ranch in my fridge right now. I'm going to hell with you. I'm sorry. It's funny they're homophobic because so many of my coworkers at Chick-fil-A were queer. I actually made a TikTok about that the other day, and I decided it was not for public consumption, so I did have to leave it in the drafts. But I was like, if you've been to a Chick-fil-A, those gay teenagers are running that Chick-fil-A, okay? I know multiple gay people that have worked for Chick-fil-A, gotten promoted multiple times. I have seen Chick-fil-A's with entirely gay staffs. I think it needs to be studied. Like, it needs to genuinely be studied. So this is what I found online for their current menu. Literally found out I was queer while working at Chick-fil-A. Do you think the Chick-fil-A employees explore each other's bodies? As a gay person, I do occasionally go to Chick-fil-A. It's like Starbucks. So this is what I found online for their current menu. It says Toddle House omelets, which I was like, which I'd never noticed on their actual menu. I'm going to go through some of the things that I like here. And see, they do have steaks. I have never once ordered a steak at Waffle House. If it is late at night and I'm hungry, like when I used to waitress on Christmas Eve and like Thanksgiving and like days like that where everything's closed, you're fucking depressed because you're working, you don't want to make your own food, I will go to Waffle House and get a burger and fries and tip 100%. Like whenever I would have to waitress on a holiday, I would get Waffle House on my way home and get a burger and fries and a cherry Coke and tip 100% because that order is like $8. And we're both working on fucking Christmas. I'm going to give you 8 of my dollars. So that is like a staple for me. I really like their burgers. They're like the smash burger, really thin. The Coke on the menu is important to me. Pepsi is not okay. I love their cherry Coke. Normally, I don't really drink Coke like that. But as a child, my dad would always get us cherry Cokes there because it's not cherry Coke like how you buy it in a can. It's Coke and they put cherry syrup and it's so fucking good. And I still to this day, I will always get that when I go to Waffle House. So, the hash browns. This is what is so confusing to people. Smothered, covered, chunked, diced, peppered, capped, topped country. Most people say smothered and covered or scattered all the way, whatever. If you can see, it's really, really tiny. They mean different things. So smothered is sauteed onions. Covered is melted cheese. I like to get my hash browns smothered, covered, and diced. Diced is with grilled tomatoes, which I know this is like diabolical to people, but this is my breakfast order. If I'm going to get breakfast, I like hash browns with the cheese, the onions, and the tomatoes. Is there anything else I get on there? I don't think so because their mushrooms aren't fresh, so I don't like them. Yeah, that's how I get my hash browns. I will sometimes just get 2 scrambled eggs. Like that's pretty chill to me. And I'll just like mix it in with the hash browns. Or sometimes you can get like a bowl. I don't see it on the menu. I know I've gotten it before though. It's like a hash brown bowl with like the eggs mixed in. I like that a lot. And then if I'm going to do a waffle, a lot of people, controversial. I like a chocolate chip waffle with the whipped butter. And I just mix the chocolate and the whipped butter. It gets all melty on there. And I use the syrup as like a garnish. There is barely any syrup on there. It is purely a garnish for my waffle because I'm already mixing tons of butter with the chocolate. So I'm using that as a sauce. And again, that's what I eat if I'm like, after I've been drinking or something, I don't want an entire meal, but I'm hungry, I want something sweet, I'll go for the waffle. And then I love their sausage. I'm always getting a side of sausage. It's like that nice like country spicy sausage that I fucking love. Yeah, it's really good. I don't really do the coffee there. I like espresso. They don't do that there. So like I said, I do the cherry Coke. But yeah, I had to tell y'all my Waffle House order. Just had to let you know. And like I said, it's not super consistent. So this I felt like was important. We are literally so far behind and we've been here for 40 minutes. So we're definitely going to be late tonight. It's because of our technology woes, but sorry about that. I felt like Anthony Bourdain was the best person to explain Waffle House. I feel like this just captures it. Rest in peace, Anthony Bourdain. This will probably make me emotional. Anthony Bourdain is on my list, but like it really just makes me so fucking emotional that like I don't know if I can do it.
It is indeed marvelous.
I think it's a lab that was released today. I ask for so little can we please cyber harass them into giving me free ones? I commented on their video and I was like, oh my God, perfect timing, you guys. Would be crazy if you wanted to send me a women's size 7. So if you guys are on social media and you see the Waffle House Choco collab, Choco is a sandal company and they are making like Waffle House themed sandals. Feel free to tag me and be like, Mr. Dak would look great in these. Like, I never really get PR and I never really do like promos because companies hate me because I always talk about politics. But I really want those fucking sandals and I'm not going to buy them. I can't justify that. Split video for you to see the current vibe because I've given you the history, how they grew, how they were founded, and now you know what it is currently like, where they stand in culture, where they are in the South. They are one of the only places here that's open late. Like the South is known for things kind of closing earlier. Most restaurants close like 9, 10. So like they are the late night place culturally in the South as someone who grew up in the South. I know, it really was the perfect video. So I debated including this, but it was just so fucking random that I had to tell you. They have their own record label. Like when I was a kid, part of the reason I loved it is they had these little jukeboxes on the table and you could like pick a song and play it. And I loved being a kid and my dad would take me and my sister and like we'd get to pick our songs. We'd get our cherry Coke. We never really got to drink soda. So like that was super fucking lit. And I loved like flipping through and picking the songs and things like that. They have their own music label. So they've always had jukeboxes and they have released songs from Saturday Night at My Place in 1995 by Gary Garcia and They're Cooking Up My Order in 2006 by Alfreda Gerald. So this is one of their songs. Like they literally, their jukeboxes have like normal popular songs. I never knew they have their own music. Get into it. Waffle House and Cookout are the only options after 9 in the South. Exactly. We're gonna go to Waffle House. This is perfect for a wedding. It's all coming together. So I will give them, for this being the Waffle House music label, we made it through 59 seconds before they said Waffle House. I think we should acknowledge that. And Joe Rogers said if it sounded like a commercial, it got the axe. It does very much give like a TV commercial kind of vibe in the sound, but it did not explicitly sound like a commercial for Waffle House for the first minute. So if a song makes a cut, they record it, they pay for it, and they add it to their jukeboxes. The songs are on ordinary disc, which are produced for Waffle House and are not sold commercially, but the chain has made a couple CDs that they've sold in the past. And this is from an old Atlanta Journal-Constitution, AJC article, but I think I'm going to kind of skip over this. It's really just what we already said. They created the record label in the 80s. Most people don't know about it. In the early days, they had vinyls, and then obviously they've kind of like upgraded since then. And Pat Warner, the director of PR, said, by no means are we trying to challenge the Capitol records of the world. I tried to find I tried to find information on, are they making money on this? Like, do they make money? Not make money, but like, is having this record label financially logical? Like, are they saving money by producing their own music? Very unclear. Could not find any stats about it. It seems like they're just doing it for fun. Like, it seems like they just think it's like a cool idea. And they said, it's just a celebration of the Waffle House experience. It's a fun factor that people come to expect from Waffle House. Hell yeah, I guess. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Did Lana Del Rey work at Waffle House, or was that a one-time thing? I think she just went for a couple days. I don't think she was officially hired. I should have included that on here. So they have a very specific ordering system, not for the customer, but for their employees. If you've ever worked at a restaurant, you have probably had to use a POS system. No, it does not mean piece of shit. Yes, we make that joke all the time. It means point of sale system. It's where I go to the table, I say, what would you like? Okay. And then I go walk to my little computer and I press buttons and I put the order in and then it prints in the kitchen and the cooks go, I will make that now, you fucking bitch. That's usually how it goes. Waffle House does not do it that way. They do not do it in the traditional way that pretty much every other restaurant does. So they do not use tickets. A ticket is, like I said, a little print and it shows up. If you've ever seen a cartoon of a chef and they have a bunch of little papers that they're reading, those are the tickets with people's orders. They do not do tickets. What they do, not complete without the you fucking bitch at the end. One thing about restaurant chefs is they really hate making food. Like if they have to make food, they are deeply, deeply upset about that. Like if there's customers in the restaurant, no. So this is their ordering system. I'm not gonna try and explain it because I don't understand it. But with the waffles, the butter being up means a waffle. 2 butters means 2 waffles. An upside down butter means a pecan waffle. If it's a flavored waffle, you put the topping with the buttercup. So like if I ordered a chocolate chip, they would just give them the buttercup and the chocolate chips to be like, the bitch wants chocolate chips. Dark waffle, having a mayonnaise packet up. Light waffle, I guess that's like a burnt or like rare. Could you say that about a waffle? The magic is that the Waffle House cooks remember all of this. No, for real, it seems so fucking hard. The eggs, again, they do it with the little packets, and you might be like, wait, the dark waffle and the scrambled well is the same symbol. 2 different size plates. I know, it even comes down to the plates. And then like the 9-inch plates versus the 7.5 means like on the side or whatever. And then omelets, like plain sausage, ham, they use like the jelly packets for that. And then like that other sauce for different things. And then for the hash browns, like hold the yolk, hold the toast with the spoon and the knife. Like it's literally just, this feels harder than reading, but what do I know? Oh, we'll get into why they use this. And then the meats and the sandwiches, you can see like the different ketchups in a different spot means different things, the pickles, all that stuff. So the waitress or server basically preps the plate for the chefs to cook and hands them the plate. And that's how they put in their orders. It is a language. It is fully a language. And then the different things that mean different types of toast and things like that. So interesting to me. So this is an employee explaining it. This communication method is demented. Bear with me. I know what you're thinking, but it really does make sense for them once we learn why.
So there's a lot of confusion on why Waffle House does what we do, considering our marking system. I have a lot of comments on here, so let me explain this as easy as I can.
Sorry, I wish I had subtitles.
So, here is the plate. We mark clean plate. I got my gloves, my gloved up. Ordered over medium, so in the middle, this would be white toast. Plate, this is hash browns. Scattered, smothered, covered, and chunked. This is all the ingredients that would go in there. We would put these ingredients on the plate, on the grill, into it. These jelly packets, so the nice clean jelly packet, we use these. We don't give them back to the customer, but we exchange them every day. We change them out so they don't get nasty, but they are used as our marks. This would be an over medium plate, scattered, smothered, covered chunks. And this signifies that it's white toast. If you flip it over, that would be wheat toast, just like that, okay? The reason we do our marking system the way we do is because we're considered a hazardous building. So like if a tornado was to hit, if a hurricane was to hit, Waffle Houses stay open for everybody. And for exactly
we'll get
how
into that
this
too.
is because we feed the safety workers, we feed the hazardous workers, we would feed Duke Energy, we would feed linemen, we would feed anybody that comes out, EPA, and we do it for free. Our grills are gas grills, and so we don't have a ticket system because a computer would go down without electric.
So what he just said is our grills are gas grills and we don't use a ticket system because it would go down with the electric. So like if there is a power outage, a gas grill can still cook, but a ticket system can't work. And as someone who has worked at a restaurant during a natural disaster, mine was in a hotel, us having to handwrite tickets made it so much more chaotic because like our handwriting's terrible, the cooks didn't understand it. You obviously cannot learn this complicated ass system on the fly, so they just do it all the time. So they're always ready.
Everything that we have here, we can basically cook all of the food and serve basically everything that we have without electric. And we stay open and run this way to be able to feed the people that are able to keep your lights on or to be able to help clean up the streets if anything happens. That's what Waffle House is here for, and that's why we do the marking system the way we do it.
It's called a marking system. They mark the
crazy.
plates.
It's not fake. It's not made up. We do this because in case we lose electric, we know exactly how to keep cooking and keep going.
So again, is that a World War II trauma response? Probably, but does make a ton of sense. So they've had a few food safety incidents, but honestly, it was really like I couldn't find anything. So there was a salmonella problem that actually was not a Waffle House problem. It was a Chili's problem. But because of that, Dateline NBC investigated like tons of American family restaurants, Waffle House being one of them. They averaged 1.6 critical violations per inspection. So I know having a violation sounds really scary. I'm going to tell you something that I have gotten violations for during health inspections when I've been on the clock working. Not like I did it, but like I was an employee there, so like the reports about all of us. So we once got a violation because there was a little bit of like ice buildup in one of our fridges. Not a fridge that we used for anything that like needs like to be at a certain temperature. It was the fridge where we put all of like our sauces and things like that. There was a little bit of ice buildup in the corner. You know when that happens. You've seen it. We did get 10 points off for that. 10. And I get why, because that can be indicative of having like unregulated temperature, which can cause people to get food poisoning. So it is important, but I was like, really, 10? And then we all had to go to a class. It was horrible. We didn't have to, but our company made us. So that's one time we got in trouble. Another time we got in trouble is a sanitizer bucket. So basically it's a bucket about this big with a rag in it that you use to clean the tables. So it's like sanitizing water. So it's like soapy water basically. We did not have our sanitizer buckets with labels that had the day and time they were created because you're supposed to replace them. I think it's every like 8 hours. You're supposed to replace them. We did not have ours labeled with the day and time. The reason we didn't is our restaurant was so fucking busy. They were getting replaced every hour because they would look gross after an hour. So we didn't feel the need to label them because we were constantly cleaning them. So like, yes, a violation is bad, but I just wanted to give you examples so you could see that like things could be worse. And after that, I was actually low-key thrilled that we got that ding because it convinced management, because we had been complaining to management because it was an outdoor restaurant, so shit would get gross from the elements. And we were like, these sanitizer buckets are disgusting. This is not a good method of us keeping the restaurant clean. And they told us that like you can get wet wipes basically. So it's like a Clorox wipe, but it's a different brand and it's a different makeup. You can get those, but they're really expensive. And they had told us like, it's too much money. And then after we got dinged for it for the health report, they like suddenly magically found the money and then we got them. And I actually feel like it made the restaurant way cleaner. So that's why like I don't hate health inspectors, because like that is an example of them making something safer and cleaner for customers. And you have to temp them, that too. So like we just weren't doing that because we were literally replacing them like every 30 minutes to an hour. So we just like, that just wasn't happening. And then we ended up getting the better disposable ones that are horrible for the environment, but great for us. After seeing kitchen nightmares, I need to quadruple the amount of health inspectors. Yeah, it really, really is. At Starbucks, we got violations for not labeling the gallons of milk as we open them. Do you know how fast a gallon goes through at Starbucks? But I'm 100% glad they're so critical. Exactly. It's things like that where like, yes, the milk does need to be labeled so that you know how long it's been open. So that for restaurants that don't use milk a ton, they're not using spoiled milk. But when you're using a gallon every 20 minutes, it doesn't feel that way. So anyway, Waffle House has pointed out that they prepare all their meals in an open kitchen. I love an open kitchen. I have seen some truly fucking disgusting things in restaurants that I've worked at. So when I can see everything and I see the people making the food, Waffle House is A-okay with me from like a food safety standpoint. where was I? There was an incident in 2019 where in South Carolina, customers were exposed to hepatitis A. After upper management found out, they closed the facility, sanitized it, and then the health officials said that they were investigating. So it seems like they have had a couple incidents, but like you're a huge food chain. Like shit's gonna happen. Kind of like how Chipotle gives people food poisoning all the time, but I still go there. So let's get to what I think many of you came here for, and we're going to spend a lot of our time here tonight talking about this: emergency preparedness. And like I said, I think this is a trauma response from World War II. This is fully a trauma response, but impressive nonetheless. According to FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, Waffle House is one of the top 4 corporations in America for their disaster response. The other ones are Walmart, Home Depot, and Lowe's. This is a picture of a Waffle House in a hurricane. So they stay open during extreme weather. They are famous for their resiliency. It is very, very rare for them to close. And if it is closed, that means things are really bad. Many Waffle House locations are in hurricane-prone areas, like we saw, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, places that are, well, I guess Georgia's not really near the coast. It only has a little coastline. But you get what I'm saying. Places that get hit by hurricanes pretty frequently, and the company has developed a reputation for preparedness. So this is from an AccuWeather article. So Panos Kovalis, who's the director for the Boeing Center of Supply Chain Innovation and a professor of operations and manufacturing at Washington University, said that Waffle House is a role model for their disaster preparedness. 3 stores where you can buy tools and supplies, and Waffle House. No, really, because like Walmart, Lowe's, and Home Depot are all places that you buy supplies for during an emergency situation. Waffle House is like, hey. Kovalis describes how they handle disasters. They know immediately which stores are going to be affected. They call their employees to know who can show up and who cannot. They have temporary warehouses where they can store food. And most importantly, they know they can operate without a full menu. This is a great example of a company that has learned from the past and developed an excellent emergency plan. It has a limited menu for times of food shortages and power outages. So like that guy said, they have a gas grill. So they can cook when there's no power. Not their entire, St. Louis, period, St. Louis, not their entire menu, but a lot of stuff. They also have Waffle House jump teams. These are people that work for Waffle House corporate or like region or whatever, who quickly go in after a natural disaster to reopen the restaurant as soon as the weather passes. They say the only time that they close is when their employees are in danger, but there's a bunch of times that their employees were in danger and they didn't close. But I guess as soon as the storm clears, the jump team goes in and reopens the location regardless of if there's power or not. And I found a blogger who said this was in it was an old article, but there was a bunch of flooding in North Carolina. And she, I think, was a nurse and was going in to give emergency medical care. And she said the Waffle House jump team fed them. They got it open. They had a limited menu, but they were passing everything out. So crazy that literally when the first responders of the medics are there, Waffle House is already there. Waffle House is and we're here. And we are here ready to serve. So this is some of their emergency menu, a no water menu. They have a menu for everything. So no water, no electricity, and they're different. It looks like they have them multiple different ones. I saw a bunch of different pictures online. So you can see no water. They can still do a burger, a chicken, a bunch of sandwiches, and that's pretty much it. But that's really impressive to me. Emergency menu, that looks like roughly the same one. Prices include tax. Some items may not be available. Thank you for understanding. Most places would just close if they could only serve a menu this tiny. So they have become so well known for their emergency preparedness that we now have what's called the Waffle House Index. The Waffle House Index is an informal metric where basically it means if it's green, the restaurant's open, they're serving their normal menu. Yellow means the restaurant is on one of those limited menus. Maybe they don't have water, they don't have electricity, whatever. And then red is if they are completely closed. So government organizations look and they see how many Waffle Houses are open, how many Waffle Houses are closed, so that they can get an idea of how bad something is going to be. So our government informally relies on them, which is like, I guess I am grateful for them. That's interesting. Very, very interesting. The dread I inexplicably fear when I see the phrase Waffle House has closed completely with the bold and italics. So when a hurricane makes landfall, the head of FEMA relies on a couple metrics. There's the wind scale, and then there's the Waffle House metrics. The FEMA administrator, this is a quote from a FEMA administrator. If you get there and the Waffle House is closed, that's really bad. That's where you get to work. So, FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management whatever, is relying on the status of Waffle House to decide how much effort they're going to be putting into something. And they keep saying, oh, it's not official, it's not official, it's not official. But then I find article after article after article of FEMA people being like, yeah, we do look at that. And Waffle House being like, yes, we send it to them right away. If we close a location, we call FEMA immediately. FEMA, what's the backup plan? What is the backup plan, FEMA? Like, our government relying on Waffle House is like how corporate relies on a single Excel sheet from 2006. That might be chat of the night. I'm screenshotting that. That was funny. You're very, very funny people. FEMA should be embarrassed. Like, this to me made me like Waffle House more and lose a lot of respect for FEMA. Not that I had that much respect for FEMA, but like, this is actually shocking to me. So this is from Hurricane Irene in 2011. 22 Waffle Houses lost power and only one stayed closed for longer than a day. 21 of them did not close, or at least if they did, it was less than 24 hours. So this is not an official metric. This is not published anywhere. This is not put out as like, this is emergency information, like when they put out weather things. But the company does report these numbers to FEMA, and FEMA uses it. So in the FEMA room, they're like, what's the wind? What's the power? What's the Waffle House? Like, FEMA is actively using this information. So they keep saying, oh, it's unofficial. It's unofficial, but it's in the emergency management room during the emergency. So they use this to judge a storm's impact and to figure out where to put their own crews so that their crews can be fed. FEMA is relying on Waffle House to feed emergency crews. FEMA, the federal government, is relying on Waffle House. Yes, you heard that correctly. And really the reason is because they figured out their fucking supply chain. It's all about the supply chain. If a storm is bad enough to close restaurants that never close, then we can agree that the storm is really bad. Hurricane Matthew in 2016 is an example, but the Waffle House Index also stands for something less obvious. It is an indicator of how complex and long supply chains are for food, fuel, and power. So that's why FEMA listens to them, because Waffle House has a lot of different things at play. They have, do we have power? Are we going to be able to get trucks of food in for deliveries? Like, they're thinking about a lot of different parts of the supply chain here. And our infrastructure is very, very fragile, because even if you can grill with no power, if the roads are destroyed, once you run out of food, how are you going to get more if a truck can't deliver it? So the Waffle Houses being open or closed is very, very, very informative, actually, which is so interesting to me. Waffle Houses in the federal budget. Do the Waffle House employees get paid to make up for being the backbone of America? Oh, we have a whole section about how they treat their employees. So the essence of the index is not just that the situation is bad. Companies like Waffle House operate in areas that are frequently hit by disasters, where their operations may go down at the same time as the demand for their services go up. Because keep in mind, if you don't have food, if you don't have power, you can't make food at home. You gotta go to Waffle House. So they had to develop a very well-defined playbook for being prepared. When I talk to companies about whether they understand their supply chain, generally they know one step up and back. They know who they buy from and who they sell to. So if I own a tissue company, I know where I get the tissues and I know where I sell the tissues. I don't know where they get the fibers that turn into the tissues. I don't know all that. This is Amy Kircher, the director of Food Protection and Defense Institute at the University of Minnesota. She said that most companies don't understand that there are 5 or 10 steps in the chain before the product reaches them, or the alternate suppliers that they consider their contingency plan are all buying from the same place. So if I say, oh, I can go get tissues at Walmart or Publix or Costco, they're all getting it from the same company. So if one of them's out, all of them are probably out. And that's what Waffle House understands, that most companies do not, and most companies are not prepared for. On the edge of a predicted storm, operations analyst Matt Stark monitors from a temporary war room. Waffle House literally creates a war room to like figure out what they're going to do when there's a storm. CKA, thank you for subscribing. This is assembled by putting mobile giant screens in a conference room, and the company positions personnel who can swoop in. Carpenters, electricians, IT specialists, and food safety experts, and someone to talk to the local government and law enforcement. A little further out, restaurants and other markets line up jump teams. These are spare personnel who volunteer to work in place of locals who might have evacuated or might need to repair their homes or care for families. So that's one thing that a lot of people asked is like, don't their employees living through these, like what about their families? What about their houses? Waffle House during Hurricane Matthew sent in 250 employees from other areas to come in and run the Waffle Houses so that the local employees who couldn't be there, like they could still open. We say throw chaos at chaos. We just throw lots of resources down there to get our restaurants open. Our CEO will be there in the war room. And Matthew, our chairman was there too. So like literally better than the US government. Look at this. They're in matching outfits. They're literally in matching outfits with the radar. They have these maps. Like they are not here to play. They are not. And I really appreciate them for that. Isn't this crazy? I feel like so many restaurants have so much to learn from this model. It's so, so deeply impressive to me. And the level of detail they go into, this is exactly how my brain works. Like I'm fucking living for this. It's so slay that they don't just ask their employees to do more with less. No, when I found out they sent in 250 employees from other Waffle Houses. So before the carpenters or computer specialists or replacement cooks or servers arrive, the company assesses how long it's been since supplies were delivered and how crucial. So things like how long since the trash has been removed, when was the last food here? If it got there Wednesday and the storm hits Thursday, they have enough food. But if the storm hits Tuesday, we might need to hurry up and deliver more food in advance. So like they're tracking the storm with their delivery days, with trash pickup, with all of these things. They use one main distributor. They use US Foods, which is based in Illinois, but they have locations all over the Southeast where most of Waffle Houses are. And so when many hurricanes that strike the US make landfall, the supplies don't have to travel as far because they're in warehouses run by US Foods that are relatively close by once the roads are clear. That model of staging supplies and personnel in layers outside an emergency. So like let's say the Waffle House in Jacksonville is closed from a storm. Maybe the one in Atlanta is fine and they can send a bunch of people and food down there. This is a really effective way to manage emergencies, but it's not unique to Waffle House. This same kind of idea of having multiple things in multiple locations and multiple layers of employees that you can call in is also used by the military, trauma response, and the CDC. They oversee our strategic national stockpile of emergency medications, vaccines, and antidotes for natural disasters and biological attacks. This is what happens if people use their power for good instead of evil. Vote for the Waffle House War Room to run FEMA. So we're going to discuss more about their employees and how they're treated and their pay and all of that later. But in regard to the emergency management system, every Waffle House employee gets a key fob with the phone numbers of like the local manager and the regional manager and all those people. Local managers are, I'm not saying this happens everywhere, but this is what corporate is telling them they're supposed to do. Local managers are supposed to keep track of who has challenging home situations, disabled parents, children, single parents, people that need extra help. And every location has a wall-mounted crisis response poster that has detachable wallet cards that has information on how to get prepared for hurricanes, tornadoes, and ice storms. And the cards also remind employees how they will be needed at work. The hurricane preparedness card says, "We will be very busy and you will make lots of money." So like, it does seem like they care about their employees, but they do still ask them to come in. It seems like if the employee's like, "I'm not coming in," they'll get in another employee. They're going to open it. But I don't love that they ask. I think it would be better if we just defaulted to the other people coming in, personally. But in many natural disasters, they've literally been a beacon of hope to people, and it actually makes me emotional. So during Hurricane Irene, they lost 22 restaurants, but like we said, all of them except one that was hit really hard were back in business. And this is what a 22-year-old secretary said: "I hadn't had a hot meal in 2 days and I knew they would be open." And she drove over to get food because a lot of people, you know, they didn't have electricity at their house. So literally like not having a hot meal in 2 days, having no electricity, living through a natural disaster. Like I actually could cry thinking about it. It just like really makes me emotional. Like, sorry, I was a waitress for a really long time. I have worked through a natural disaster. I've served people in a natural disaster. And I think that like one of the basic human ways to connect is to feed each other, to give people food when they're going through something difficult. And I think it's just like really admirable that they have such a commitment to reopening and like being there for people in these time of needs. No, it's literally the comfort in the storm. Chad, are we also crying? Like, yeah, I did cry on the stream about Waffle House. And what about it? And this really says it all. This is a picture from Hurricane Katrina. "We'll be back. Associates, please report to a unit on the highway." I don't know, is that a storage unit? They're like, "You're still working, by the way." By the way. From personal experience, when you're going on 4 days of no power, a restaurant with a hot meal will make you sob. Yeah. So this, in a way, is a form of marketing. I had a professor who hated me say something really, really remarkable. He said, anytime a company is interacting with their customers, it is marketing. Whether it's good or it's bad, you are marketing anytime you're interacting with a customer. And they fully embraced this post-disaster preparedness as a business strategy in 2005. This is when Hurricane Katrina hit. 7 of its restaurants were destroyed and 100 were shut down, and the ones that they were able to reopen quickly were swamped with customers. After Hurricane Katrina, the company decided to beef up their crisis management. So some of the other ones I showed you were more recent, after like post-Katrina. I think Katrina really like changed our country in a lot of ways. So they beefed up their crisis management. Senior executives developed a manual for opening after a disaster. They bulked up on portable generators. They bought a mobile command center. And then this is when they started the employee key fobs with the emergency contacts and things like that. In an academic paper, this same guy, we already talked about this, like said they're one of the top companies. And Waffle House managers say that volume is the number of customers you have, can double or triple in the aftermath of a storm. And for a company whose sales are estimated to exceed 600 million, they will not release any information on the cost or benefits to reopen quickly after a disaster. The company says that this strategy is about marketing and goodwill, not profits, which I can see because like to get these generators there, to get a response team out there, to have to pay employees to come in and stay at hotels and things like that, that is probably not profitable. Like, it is probably not profitable to do that and then sell a limited menu where everything is $3 or less than $3. Like that you're probably not making hordes and hordes of cash, but like in the short run, but in the long run, you are. This develops a brand loyalty that you cannot pay any marketing team to create. You have to create this through connection and with actual service of people. Like, who cares if you lose money? You did the right thing, but also think about all these people that go through this trauma of a natural disaster, and then the first time they feel safety and comfort is at Waffle House, that is going to be imprinted on them forever, and they are going to be a customer for life. Is that manipulative? I don't think it is. Like, it is, but I don't think that's wrong. Like, I don't think that's necessarily bad. They're still serving someone. Like, I don't think that benefit negates the positive impact of them being known for this and reopening so quickly. If you factor in all the resources we deploy, the equipment we lease, the extra supplies trucked in, and the extra manpower we bring in, a place for them to stay, you can see we aren't doing it for the sales those restaurants generate. This is Pat Warner, a member of their crisis management team. Their hurricane playbook explains how to reopen a restaurant and what to serve if there is gas but no electricity, or a generator but no ice. So it literally is a paper handbook, because remember, no electricity, it's not like you can fucking print something off. It is a paper handbook in all the Waffle Houses that say, what do you have, what do you not have, here's the play, here's what you are doing. An important element is limiting the menu so the company's supply chain can focus on keeping certain items stocked or chilled or frozen. They've responded to several other disasters before Irene. A lot of this is an article about Hurricane Irene. They were one of the few places to open after a deadly tornado. They began tracking Irene like 10 days before most people were. They began moving ice and eggs to staging sites right outside the disaster zone or the damage zone. So the path of where the hurricane is going, they said, we're going to put so much ice and so many eggs right next to it. So as soon as that hurricane's gone, we can truck that shit in. This seems like marketing is a side effect versus the true intention. That's what I think this is. I think it was always their true intention. And then after Hurricane Katrina, they saw how important it was. And they probably also saw how it resonated with people and made a decision as a company to be like, this is going to be who we are. Like, we're going to lean into this. Because I think it had a good intention at the start and turns out to be great for marketing. I love the logistics of this prep work. I love logistics. This is so fascinating to me. On Friday, the company's mobile command center, an RV, nicknamed Stripes, was headed from the headquarters to the disaster zone. So they literally have a Waffle House command center. Power went off at a Waffle House just off Interstate 95 as Irene churned through. The restaurant kept serving until it got too dark for the grill cook to see the food. Then they shut down. Then they reopened the next day as soon as the sun came up. The lights in the freezer were not working, but the gas grill was. They boiled water on the grill and then put that in the coffee machine before the power went out. And the district manager handed employees copies of an emergency grill-only menu, which we kind of saw. And by 9 a.m., cars were lined up in the parking lot. At 10 a.m., the power came back on, and they immediately added waffles to the menu. This is so reassuring to learn about. I'm glad. Like, this literally, I think, is like an example of one of the best things that a corporation is doing. So Matthew Ray Booth lives a few miles away, came in at 4 p.m. He said he'd spent 2 days drinking soda and eating canned pork and beans. He ordered bacon, scrambled eggs with cheese, hash browns scattered, covered, and smothered, and a glass of iced tea. We didn't have no air, no place to cook, or no food at the house. So literally just like that moment of comfort that they're providing, I think, is so important. Reggie Smith is a manager who came in from 100 miles away to help get Weldon and Roanoke Rapids restaurants up and running, gestured to customers sipping coffee Sunday afternoon, including locals who'd been sleeping without air conditioning and travelers whose vacations had been disrupted. And he said, they're displaced from their life. This is a brief bit of normal. Truly unprecedented crisis response and preparedness. And I'm about to cry again. Like, I think it's just incredibly admirable. And like, to me, serving someone, like being an employee and serving someone when they're going through something like this is truly one of the most rewarding and honorable things I've ever done. Like, I have never felt so good about myself and like I was doing a good, right thing compared to when I literally was waitressing in a hurricane. Like, people are just so desperate and so grateful, and it's just like such a human moment that's so important, and it just like makes me emotional. I got chills from this slide. I know, it's literally incredible. And yeah, I knew I was gonna cry. Like, the camaraderie the community, the hospitality, the logistics. It takes like, this is a combination of two things I'm really passionate about. One is like having empathy and helping people, like having community. All we have is each other. That's really all we have. I'm also very passionate about logistics. People do not realize what an intricate and delicate balance it is to run our society, and how much transportation and communication and things like that are required to make our society run and function. Like, I just watched the Poop Cruise documentary. Great example of that. So like, to see a company take that logistics seriously, because I've worked in so many places that do not take their logistics seriously. To see a company that takes their logistics so seriously and has invested enough time, money, and energy to really make this be something that's like so good for people and so needed in our society. Because I think that like emergencies and natural disasters are only going to increase through climate change. And I think that our government is just like completely unprepared for it, and it just like makes me happy to know that like this organization and these people are so highly committed to this. This is making me want to quit teaching and go work at Waffle House and work my way up. I love the communal aspect. It's something that shines through the toughest moments, and it's kind of great to see that from a company. And like I said, it's like, it's marketing, but that really doesn't seem like the intention behind it. Because if it was, they would do it once or twice for a photo. They wouldn't be so committed to it on a structural corporate level where they've invested lots of resources into this. And like, low-key, where do I sign? Like, I'm in. I want to be on that team. Waffle House, I am here for you. Genuinely such a spiritually rewarding experience to serve food to people experiencing natural disaster. I completely agree. There's like a famous quote, I don't know who it's from, someone really important, where they say like, the best way to find yourself is through the service of others. And I think that that's so true. I think that's, and I don't just mean serving in like the restaurant sense, I mean serving in like the helping, doing things for other people sense. I think that like being in service is the most fulfilling thing. Like, I truly think, maybe this is just me, but like, I really think it's what human beings were put on earth to do. Like, we are so much stronger together when we look at each other through like a service mindset. I feel like I get the same feeling I get catering funerals. I could see that as well, where it's like people at their lowest and being able to provide them comfort and a meal is just a very like, It's just sad to think all of our systems could work if we could just fund them and have the resources to do it right. Oh my God, I know. It's so fucking depressing. So they have a rarely used food truck, but after Hurricane Michael, they brought out the food truck and handed out free food. This is standard operating procedure when dispatched in an emergency. So you notice the people in line, this is for emergency responders, but this is the Waffle House tweet. This is from 2018. It says the food truck will be giving out free food again until 4:30 p.m. in Panama City. Scattered, smothered, and recover. Like, they don't have to do that because look, the restaurant's literally destroyed. The sign has one S, and they pulled up with a fucking food truck to feed the first responders and the people that did not evacuate, I guess. I'm so sad I won't be able to finish. Mwah, bye, love you, we'll miss you. You can finish it on YouTube later. But I just think that this is just such a good corporate model for like how to actually have fucking good marketing and build goodwill. So this is from Reddit. Waffle House employees, do they tell you to show up no matter the situation? Genuinely curious. I have worked in the restaurant industry for 25 years and it always seems like people are nervous about getting to work during inclement weather. However, Waffle House is almost always open during these times. How does Waffle House communicate this standard? It's amazing to me that there's staff that show up, unsung heroes. These are the responses. Yes, it's the one time Waffle House isn't concerned with profit. It's something that started with Joe Rogers decades ago. Waffle House does all it can to stay open in emergencies simply for the sake of helping emergency workers and displaced people. As a matter of fact, areas impacted almost always cause a profit dump, but it's forgiven for taking care of feeding everyone is far more important. Food cost goes through the roof, but who cares as long as everyone's fed? It's really the company's last redeeming qualities, especially considering how greedy it has become in the last decade. This and another one. I'm a former employee, but when I worked there during a snow or ice storm in Georgia, they offered us transportation and in some cases even a hotel room. Another one. While standing around patting themselves on the back to stay open during crisis conditions, I've always felt for those workers in those stores who have homes that are also in jeopardy. Just maybe company heroic efforts to stay open aren't helping the employee victims get their lives back in order. When a city just blew or flooded off the map, asking folks to report has a tone of selfishness to it. While it may surprise management, the company is not the most important thing in their lives at a time like that. But we know that they literally don't do that. Like, they kind of are like, it would be really cool if you come in, but if you don't, it seems like they very much have a backup plan. Someone said, it's one of the reasons I applied. I love the dedication to be available for customers and employees. Someone else said, if you don't have a car, they will come get you. If you live far away, they will get you a hotel. They could care less about the safety of their employees. My last power outage, I was told light candles and prop doors open. 65-mile-an-hour wind at 2 a.m. with the tornado warning, and I'm in a fishbowl. So this employee was basically saying they made her come in, but they do offer you a hotel and they'll pick you up. Someone else said, do they tell you show up or else? So it seems like it probably really depends on the manager. Do employees get hazard pay? This is one thing I was very curious. Someone asked that and someone replied, nope. So that's just from Reddit. I feel like we can be super cynical towards these things, which is fair. I get it. Yeah, so that's what I mean when I say, like, it is a company. They are not perfect, but it seems like overall they really are a positive force during natural disasters. But imagine you don't have power at home, but you can go to work and charge your phone and eat, and you know they'll be open with the power back super fast. So literally, when I worked through a natural disaster, it was a hurricane. I don't remember which one. And it wasn't horrible. We didn't have flooding, but the power was out for multiple days. The hotel I worked at had generators. They had things so we could still have cell phone service. I don't know how that works. And so I got to work at like 8:30 in the morning. The storm started at about 10 a.m. and by 7 or 8 p.m. it had died down. And so I did drive home. They really wanted us to stay at the hotel there, but they had 4 employees per room, and that just like wasn't really my jam. And I lived very close by, and I said, I really, really want to go home. I really want to sleep in my own bed. Like, I'm really fucking over this. Like, I've been here for literally 12 hours. And they were like, no, we don't want you to leave. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. And so I made the GM, or I promised the GM, I said, I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to drive home. If I see even a couple inches of water or a tree down, I will not try and go around it. I will turn around and I will come back. And I literally lived like 2 miles away. And so they let me leave and they were like, okay, you can go home. And I went home, had no cell service at home, had no power at home. Even though I was not on the schedule for the following day, I came back to work because what the fuck else was I going to do? I had no power. I had no electricity. I wanted to tell my family I was okay. I wanted to get in contact with somebody. So I drove my happy ass back to work. They gave me a clean uniform and said, get in there, girl. And we made a lot of fucking money that weekend. That company did give us hazard pay. I worked at a hospital during a bad Texas ice storm, and they tried to get me a hotel, but I wasn't old enough to check into the hotel, so I had to drive home. No. Okay, so moving on from natural disaster preparedness. I told you we'd talk about it for a while, but it's just so interesting and important. Let's talk about the company's ordering system and their employees. So here's a reminder of their confusing ass, but kind of cool, ordering system. Let's talk about corporate pay, employees, all of that. So I could not find any like real articles about this, but I have a theory that part of the reason they use this ordering system, aside from the natural disasters, is so that they can accommodate employees that are semi or not fully literate. Semi or fully illiterate. Yeah, I wrote that correctly and said it wrong. So this is what I'm thinking, because like if you don't know how to read, you can learn this. This is no letters. It's colors and placement. You can learn this if you don't know how to read. Someone on Reddit, when there was a thread talking about their ordering system, this is what a commenter said. I could not find any articles, anyone talking about this. I only found it in comments on Reddit. Yeah, this is insane. Was this developed to help illiterate staff or to limit the training of employees who would then be able to read tickets and get better jobs? That's where my head is at. Another Reddit comment said, I am a former grill operator, master grill operator for Waffle House. Most of the people in the thread are missing the context this system is used in. On a busy weekend morning, you can have 4 cooks working the line. If they had to stop and read all the individual tickets, it'd be incredibly inefficient. This is a system that essentially uses symbolic language, and each cook can tell just by glancing at the plate exactly what they need to do. They can also listen for keywords related to their station when an order is called. It's actually incredibly efficient. And I can see where this would be a pain in the ass to learn, but once you learned it, you can just glance and you just know. I think most people think this is in terms of one person cooking one order, but that's not how an assembly line works. So I can see where you have multiple people rather than passing the ticket. I can see where this totally works awesome. This is my take that I was kind of talking about on TikTok. I think Waffle House knows and understands the literacy crisis. I think Waffle House clearly is great at logistics. They clearly have very smart people running their organization. And I think that they know that a lot of adults in the food industry struggle with literacy. A lot of those adults in the food industry are also incredibly hardworking and talented people that you want working for your business. So what the greatest thing to do would be to teach them how to read. To be like, you're a great employee, we're going to teach you how to read. Waffle House is making a choice to not do that. And even if it's a passive choice, that's still a choice. So instead what they do is they accommodate being illiterate. Most workplaces do not accommodate being illiterate. Most workplaces will fire you if you are illiterate because you cannot do things that they require. So if you get a job at Waffle House and you don't know how to read, you're probably not going to quit. Even if they treat you like shit, even if they give you a bad schedule, even if you don't get raises. It is a job where you can get benefits where you don't have to know how to read for a lot of these positions. I think it is a retention technique because Waffle House could choose to offer free classes where they teach their staff to read. They don't, because then that staff would probably leave the organization. If they wanted to help these people, they would teach them how to read. These employees make money for them, and Waffle House wants to keep that. Like Waffle House has said many times, they care about being in the community and building relationships, and they know that their employees are the ones that do that. To have employees building community relationships, they need to stay in their job for a fairly long time. And if you think about your local Waffle House, if you've been, many small children know the staff. It is an amazing place to take small children. Like, I have a nephew. He loves Waffle House. So lots of little kids go there all the time and they know the employees. And so that it becomes like a family establishment. So you need those employees staying there. Retention also saves a lot of money because you don't have to train new people. You already have them there. Those employees are also going to be better and more efficient employees that are going to make more money for your business. They're going to be like, oh yeah, get a waffle. Like them building those customers for life, serving people during a natural disaster, solidifying that relationship. So I think it comes to retention, and I think employee retention is a key part of their business model and the vibe that they've curated. And like I said, it's not like they're holding them hostage. It's not like they're like, you have to work here till you die. But in a way they are, because if you're illiterate, you're going to be very hesitant to give up that job, as opposed to other restaurants like McDonald's or Applebee's or wherever, where you do need to know how to read and write. From just anecdotal evidence, I see a lot more employee turnover in those restaurants than I do at Waffle House. I've met multiple Waffle House employees who have been at the same location for years and years and years. I'm not saying they're illiterate, but they could be. You know what I mean? It's icky, but it's not the worst. That's what I mean. Like, a lot of companies just say, oh, you're illiterate, we won't hire you. So, like, kind of the same way with, like, the marketing and the integration. Like, could be better, could be worse. I just think it's very, very interesting. So, I wanted to just show a couple different things that I found about them hiring and things like that. So, they have what's called Waffle House University. I could not find anything about this online. I don't know if they got rid of it. I know it existed because I did seriously consider doing their management training program when I was graduating college. But I found this little pamphlet thing that looks like exactly what I got a couple years ago. So restaurant managers, like of one location, can make between $45,000 to $59,000 a year. And keep in mind, they were like recruiting me as a manager, and I was like fresh in college. That's not bad. That's more than I made teaching fresh out of college. Is there something to them only being in the South? Not judgmental, just wondering. That's just kind of where they were founded and branched out from there, and it's Southern food. District managers can make 65 to 96, and then division managers can make up to 117. $14,000 stock option on your first day. 3 weeks of vacation a year. They have benefits, and they do a 3-month management training program. So the managers are on a schedule that, like, this is unheard of in the restaurant industry. I have never had a restaurant manager have a schedule like this. 6 days on, 2 days off. So you work 6 days, then you get 2 days off. Having 2 days off in a row as a manager of a restaurant is fucking unheard of. They do all their promotions from within. So all of their regional managers are promoted up. They don't hire outside the organization. 3 10-day vacations per year, paid maternity leave, 6 weeks, 8 weeks for C-section. That's not enough. Fast paced, teamwork, winning. I'm not telling you it seems like a good job, but as far as restaurant manager jobs go, this one seems a little bit better. This is the management training program that I literally was inches away from doing. If I had not gotten recruited to be a teacher, I would literally have done this. This was my top option before that happened. So this is terrifying. So there's no restaurant simulator. We believe in learning by doing. On day 1, you'll put on the uniform and walk into a real Waffle House restaurant and start working alongside a training unit manager. You'll do everything they do until it becomes second nature. During this period, you'll receive extra training from senior managers as well. Here are some details. You would be in that Waffle House war room. I just know it. No, I'm literally thinking about, like, it's never too late. I could always go do this. Like, they would take me in a second. I already fucking know. They were going to take me when I had less experience and a not as good resume as I do now. So 6 on, 2 off. You work 6 days, your 2 days off. Your day is from 6:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And you have 9 to 12 weeks of management training. This is the key part. 3rd shift rotations. This is what it seems like they've done. This is what a lot of corporate management trainings do, where they go, you're going to shadow our manager. And by shadow, they mean do the same job for less money at a more inconvenient time. So I guarantee your ass is on 3rd shift a fucking lot. 3rd shift is the night shift, by the way. Waffle House University coursework, so it is some like corporate training and something like that. Lock in, you guys. Practice management by running different restaurants. So if a manager calls out, you as the training manager have to go run that fucking Waffle House. A friend of mine did this program, not at Waffle House, but at the hotel we worked for, and they literally just ran her ass fucking ragged. She was like, I'm supposed to be learning. And they were like, you are learning through suffering. Trainees become familiar with team leadership, business systems, and hands-on culture. So ultimately, I did not do that because on day 1, you'll put on the uniform and start working. We don't even have like a 1-day, hi, how are you, in like an air-conditioned conference room. It does feel like boot camp, but then you literally are a GM after this. So this is like the hack to not have to work your way up, I guess. So these are their hourly careers. So this is like the not managers. So they do offer benefits. It is very rare to get benefits in the food and beverage world. Full-time associates are eligible to enroll beginning 30 days after their start date. Obviously, they don't offer it to part-time employees. There's almost no organizations that do that. And they say flexible schedules. You're going to work when we fucking tell you to. They do offer paid maternity leave. Very unheard of to have paid maternity leave in a restaurant. Really not long enough, 6 to 8 weeks. You have to have worked there for 2 years. But again, I don't want to measure them against what is right. I want to kind of measure them against the norm. And this is far above the norm, in my opinion. Stock ownership, PTO, 1 hour for every 30 hours worked. That's not great. It's not horrible. So they also can get paid in cash, and they get paid every single week there. The hourly employees do. So the pay there seems very... Doesn't Starbucks give health benefits to part-timers? Yes, they do. They're one of the only companies that does that. So the pay seems pretty normal. Servers make about $3 an hour. That's The serving minimum wage federally is $2.13. So it's higher in places where it's legally required, but they basically pay low like everyone else. Cooks can earn from 10 to 21, depending on the Waffle House. I can see in different areas they would make different amounts of money. Restaurant managers, $94,000. Higher up people are paid bi-weekly, but like low-level hourly employees get paid weekly. I know they used to get paid in cash. I know now they think they have like the little debit card or direct deposit. And Waffle House on Glassdoor is 3.3 out of 5 stars. If you don't know what Glassdoor is, it's basically a website where you can review a job. Like you can be like 5 stars, I love this job, or like 1 star, I hate this job. And 3.3 is like kind of as average as you could get. But like always, it is a corporation. It's not going to be all sunshine and roses. It's just not. So let's talk about, you would be so slay as the manager of a Waffle House. Honestly, everyone would love you. I really think that that might be like my next career. I'm really thinking about it. Maybe. It's never too late. I love the restaurant business. The only thing I don't love about it is working nights and weekends. That's what I fucking hate. It's so horrible. And this is probably like the worst idea anyone's ever had, but maybe once I have kids, I'll do it, because when you have kids, you have no free time ever. So who cares when you're at work? Because your life is horrible anyway. You know, because like right now I'm like young and fun and I have free time. So I don't want to be at work at night and on the weekends. But if it's that or hang out with a bunch of toddlers, maybe. You know what I mean? We used Glassdoor for my marketing plan this past school year. In that class, we chose a company to focus on. Phenomenal teacher in class. Oh, that's a cool project. So let's talk about where Waffle House could be improving things a lot. So this is from an article titled "Waffle House Cheats Workers on Pay," Labor Group says. I think this was a NBC maybe article, one of the big ones. Waffle House shafts its servers out of a portion of their pay by requiring that they also wash dishes and cook. So they have rampant wage theft by performing non-tipped work for tipped wages. So what that means, if I am a server and I am making $3 an hour, that is because, or rationalized as, well, I make tips. So I should only be serving customers because that's how I make tips. But at Waffle House, the servers sometimes have to cook the food and do the dishes. You don't make tips for doing that. So you are being paid less than minimum wage while you are doing that. So like servers, that's why they get pissed off when it's slow, because they're not making as much money. And in serving, it's called side work. So like rolling silverware, washing dishes, things like that. And you're getting paid less than minimum wage to do it, which is illegal. It is rampant in the restaurant industry, absolutely rampant. I actually have a stream. It was one of my earlier ones. It's very old, but it's still up, called The History of Tipping, that kind of gets into who the fuck made this system and how this happened. So this union accuses the Georgia-based corporation of violating the Fair Labor Standards Act's tip credit requirement and failure to pay servers the federal minimum wage, which has been stalled at $7.25 since 2009. So this article is from 2024. Employers can satisfy part of the minimum wage obligation to tipped workers by taking a partial credit, paying an hourly rate as little as $2.13, as long as the tipped employees receive enough in gratuities to earn the minimum. So like, one time when I was working at a restaurant, I only worked one day that week. And so my paycheck was going to be less than minimum wage because I like didn't have enough tables. Like it wasn't high enough. So the company had to cover it and pay me the minimum wage. That's basically what the law is that if you don't make enough in tips to get you to minimum wage, the company's supposed to cover that. But it's an average over a couple weeks. It's not in this hour. So let's say I made $500 in tips on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, I didn't have a single customer, and I made $2 an hour. The government considers that my money from Tuesday like covers that, and the restaurant doesn't have to pay me back for that. So yeah, it's fucked up. So in 2024, the CEO announced that the company was hiking the pay from $2.92 to $3 an hour. Perfect. And again, like this is not necessarily a Waffle House issue. This is a industry issue. And Waffle House is a leader in the industry that is making a choice to not do things the right way and is making a choice to save the money and keep it within the company. Buffalo Wild Wings, they told us they couldn't afford to pay a dishwasher or buy us pens. No, for real. OMG, yay, rolls eyes for an $8 bump. Eighth of a dollar, bro. Yeah, it's really not good. So this is what a Georgia resident who has worked at Waffle House for 30 years, Cindy Smith, said. It's a bunch of hooey. They say we're all family, but when your family needs something, they don't care. Many of their employees live in motels. They get paid week to week, adding Smith, who she said frequently goes hungry to pay for her car and auto insurance. She is a server at the Waffle House in Conyers, Georgia, and she spends about 2 hours of each 8-hour shift cleaning and doing side work, and typically takes home $80 to $120 in tips a day, in addition to her $3 an hour base. She said they should compensate us for doing that labor. So because her tips work out to be above minimum wage, she's doing all that for almost no money, which fucking sucks. And according to one document, Waffle House does not employ dishwashers, kitchen helpers, or janitors, but relies on the servers to clean the restaurant and wash the dishes. And janitorial and dishwashing work are not infrequent tasks, but they are a core part of the server duties. They spend 1 to 3 hours per shift engaged in work outside of their tipped occupation. This results to between $15 to $46.8 million in unpaid wages per year, which is a lot. Waffle House did not respond to a request for comment by CBS. Oh, it was a CBS article. And like we said, they are fucking huge. Tipped workers are essentially, so they have like the equipment of a dishwasher. They do not have a person that runs the dishwasher, to clarify that. So like me as a waitress would put you are my customer. I take your dirty dishes. I put them in the dishwasher and I run the dishwasher. In most restaurants, I just throw your plate on this table and then someone else deals with that, and that's their whole job. I've never worked at a restaurant where I had to wash my own dishes. And then again, it is physically, like they have the appliance, a dishwasher. They do not have a person designated to run the dishwasher. When I worked at Bob Evans, it used to take me like 1 to 2 hours to do the side work, and we rarely ever had a dishwasher or host scheduled, and it sucked. Dishwashing and bussing tables are a separate job. Waiters do all of it in Waffle House. Yes, it sucked, I'm sure. So tipped workers are especially vulnerable to wage theft, according to the Economic Policy Institute. A recent analyst led by a left-leaning think tank found that workers who earn tipped wages are 2.3 times more likely to live in poverty than non-tipped workers. And a Department of Labor investigation of 9,000 restaurants found 1,170 tip credit violations worth nearly $5.5 million. Yikes. And so March of 2024, Georgia Waffle House workers went on strike over the mandatory meal credit deduction. This is what killed me. So apparently the company deducts $3 from every shift for an employee meal. Whether they eat the meal or not, they get $3 deducted from their paycheck for each shift. So if you work 5 days a week, that's $15. When you are making $3 an hour, that is a lot. 1 full hour. That is a lot. And $15 to someone who does not make that much money, like that is a very significant portion of groceries or part of an internet bill or a phone bill or something like that. Like $15 is like not nothing. The union estimated that the nationwide policy could total nearly $30 million deducted from workers annually. This is a quote from Cindy. If Waffle House thinks they can keep getting away with docking our pay for meals we won't eat, then they clearly don't understand the power we've built in our union. We show up, and this is, I have it at the end, but it's called like United Southern Service Workers, and it's like not a Waffle House union, but it's like a Southern Service Workers union. We show up every day and work as hard for $2.90 an hour before tips, so losing $3 each shift does real damage. We're fed up. We're going to strike and demand that Waffle House end this policy across the country, listen to us, and make changes that will keep us safe on the job and provide for our families. And 13,000 workers signed a petition to the U.S. Department of Labor demanding the federal government investigate the meal credit policy. Employee meals should absolutely be free. When I worked at that hotel, this made me so mad. I hated it. They fed us, but it was like not that good of food. We had this thing, it was called, what was it? The employee dining room, and they would have like cold cuts and bread and like random leftovers. And like it was food. But to eat like the good restaurant food, we had to pay for it. And I would always pay for it. And I would lose so much money. And all my coworkers would be like, go to the employee dining room, like make a grilled cheese. It's really not that fucking serious. And I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I want the good salad with the good chicken, not the weird, shiny deli sliced chicken. Like, I need the good chicken. Like, I just need it. And we did get 50% off the food, but it was a fancy hotel, so it was fucking expensive. And I would literally waste so much money buying food there. So, the Service Employees International Union is one as well. Not being able to opt out really sucks. You know where their shifts are far too busy for them to eat. Exactly. It's the automatic that's for me, like whether you eat it or not. I would take that shit to go every single day. Like, you're going to give me my fucking shit. And I would just take shit like groceries. I'd be like, fuck it. I want all onions. And then I'd take them home and use them. So this is a photo from their strike. So the day-long strike also followed several recent protests in the Atlanta area over safety measures at work and fair wages. The urgency of their cause is accentuated by ongoing discussions about safety concerns, particularly like natural disasters. They are also asking for a $25 an hour minimum wage and security at all restaurants. I love that they came in hot. They said, you're paying us $2.90, we want $25. 25. I like that. Come in high, because you can always go down. You can't go up. So come in high. This is another article about this like week where they had a lot of this going on. Waffle House employees gather in Avondale, the original location, to fight for better working conditions. Waffle House employees marched along College Avenue and Avondale Estates on April 25th, demanding better working conditions and increased pay for all employees in the restaurants. Waffle House servers and union members started on College Avenue across from a current Waffle House and marched to the Waffle House Museum, because remember, it's not a Waffle House anymore, it's the museum. We went to the Waffle House Museum because it's a staple landmark for the restaurant and we wanted to raise awareness about the company's practices in general, said a spokesperson and organizer for the Union of Southern Service Workers. The workers in attendance are also members of the Union of Southern Service Workers. They could have been seen walking down College Avenue with signs saying "Safe Jobs Now." They did multiple chants, including "Put some respect on our check." This Waffle House is mine, pay us $25. What do we want? $25. If we don't get it, shut it down. And this is from Decatur-ish. It's a local news outlet. So like y'all know I stand by my local news outlets. They're really doing the real reporting. So one of their things they're upset about is dangerous working conditions. The National Council for Occupational Safety announced its 2024 Dirty Dozen list. So this is a list of employers that have unsafe practices. Waffle House was on the list in 2024, and it is released annually during Workers' Memorial Week. So thank you to the workers back then. I've talked about this on here. People died for us to have minimum wage. People died for us to have workers' comp. People died for us to have OSHA. And to me, when I am saying like Americans that died for our freedom, that's usually who I'm talking about. So I like that there's a Memorial Week for the people that died in that fight. Restaurants in this 24-hour, 365 days per year chain have developed a reputation as a hotbed for violence. A worker was shot and killed in 2022 and multiple shootings already in 2024. Workers are organizing to win better safety and security. This also makes sense with Waffle House primarily being in the South, where there are not as strict of gun laws. More of their customers are going to have guns, and there's going to be more violence when there's more guns. The Waffle House employees are built different. This is an Inside Edition report about
They serve more than 200 million customers a year. And since Waffle House is open 24/7, if you've got the munchies, they're there to feed you. But Waffle House is sometimes the scene of some pretty wild moments late at night. Lisa Guerrero went looking for answers why.
Waffle House gone wild.
Crazy scenes like this are
Very
playing out
common.
at Waffle Houses across the USA. Waffle House is one of the nation's largest fast food chains with more than 1,900 locations in 25 states. But the 24-hour chain and its huge yellow signs have become infamous for rowdy late-night crowds and all-out brawls.
And it makes sense.
It gets
it's late
pretty
night.
vicious in a Waffle House.
Oh,
Haley
this girl.
Booth, aka Waffle House Wendy,
I'm gonna play that back. This is her nickname is Waffle House Wendy. She went viral because someone threw a chair at her and she swatted it away with one hand. I'll show it to you again.
all-out brawls. It gets pretty vicious in a Waffle House. Haley Booth,
Look at her.
aka Waffle House Wendy,
One
recently
hand.
became an overnight sensation when video of this late-night brawl went viral online.
Karma.
That's Haley right there,
This is how I
deflecting a
picture
metal
you in the
chair
classroom.
hurled at her by an angry customer.
All I did was just pick up my arms to stop it from hitting me in the face.
Watch as the customer throws not one, not two, but 3 chairs at Haley, who says working the overnight shift at Waffle House can be dangerous. Why are so many fights breaking out inside the famous restaurant chain? To see for ourselves,
That's a
we sent a
misredacted
team
cousin.
of producers to 10
Stop.
Waffle Houses, some of the busiest in the country. At this Waffle House in Atlanta, where 5 teenagers were shot and 2 people were stabbed, there's now an armed deputy
The thumbs
standing
up.
guard. In fact, every Waffle House we visited had armed security, surveillance cameras, and even a loudspeaker warning customers they're being recorded 24/7.
This is Waffle House Security monitoring and recording all activity at this location with live audio and video.
I have never personally had an experience like this at Waffle House, but I will say I have only really gone to Waffle Houses that were not in super busy areas. I can see where a Waffle House like in downtown Atlanta, people are fresh out of the club. I can see where things get a little more intense there. It was super crowded. I've more been to Waffle Houses like when I've been at a Waffle House late at night, it's been in like a remote rural area. So it's like a very different vibe. It's spooky, but in a different way.
James Shaw Jr. is known as the Waffle House hero. That's Shaw tackling an armed gunman and throwing his assault rifle over the counter at a Waffle House in Nashville.
We hear about a mass shooting, but we never think it's going to be us.
4 customers were killed before Shaw saved the day.
What was going through your mind at that moment that you were actually rushing towards him to grab the gun?
My main goal in that moment was to point the gun down and separate him from the gun.
Former police officer Leonard Sipes says most of these incidents happen late at night because Waffle House is one of the few places open to eat 24 hours a day.
If you have young people congregating under the influence of drugs, under the influence of alcohol, it's a mixture that is bound to create problems.
I could have told you that. When are we getting a TQT and Green Brothers collab? When y'all harass them into talking to us? That's when. So rare for me to care about the British, but this TikTok was really funny.
Hello, I'm the person who posted the video saying that 100 Brits would definitely beat 100 Americans, and I would like to revise this statement. The amount of videos that have been made threatening my safety is mental. I was joking around, alright? Jesus Christ. I was also very confused by people saying that the workers in the Waffle Houses would be the reason that America would win. So I did some research.
Oh my god, bro! Oh my god, bro!
I love that clip of Haley.
Was a woman
Like,
blocking a metal chair with just one arm, like Iron Man. She said Wingardium Leviosa on that chair. She used the Force, Jedi Queen. Like, what is going on? They're built different. Apparently, this is just normal in Waffle Houses. Look at this video.
Don't get stressed, don't get figured out. All the conversations at the Waffle House.
Oh, watch him, watch him. He just carried on eating his food. What is going on? This is but a fraction of the videos that I've been tagged in. I can't wait to show you more. People from the UK, I know that we feel like our Weatherspoons are the most terrifying place in the world, which they very much might be. But honestly, that Waffle House shit is mental. I feel like I need to go to America just to experience it for myself. Like, what is this mysterious Waffle House? America. I'm still not convinced, alright? But you've got me thinking.
You should be convinced, sir. But yeah, and that's why, like, this is my culture. Like, I'm from Georgia. This is literally my culture. Like, I can speak on it. And I wanted to, like, end on something super positive because I felt like overall this stream was positive. And overall, I think out of all corporations, Waffle House is one of the ones that is better run, has been around to stand the test of time, and sometimes does good things. This is a local news reporter that posted this. A quiet moment of kindness caught on camera. 3 Waffle House employees in Madison, Georgia walked out to meet one of their regulars, an elderly man who had not been by in a while, and gently helped him out of his car. They walked arm in arm across the street and into the restaurant. Kara Bowers caught the precious moment on camera and says it made her cry. Because apparently this guy comes every day and he wasn't there for a few days, so all of them were really worried about him. So when they saw his car pull in, they all ran outside and, like, literally, God, I could cry. It's really just kind of beautiful. Like, I think, like I titled this stream, Waffle House is really the best and the worst of America. Like, wage theft, fighting, gun violence, emergency preparedness, empathy, community. You know what I mean? This is the kind of relationship you build with people. I have regulars I still think about. So I thought that was just super happy. And even though we had so many technology problems tonight, I really, really did enjoy this. And then one other thing I wanted to share is this organization seems really cool. I had not heard of them, and it seems like they're really doing important work. The United Southern Service Workers. Service workers in the South have long been excluded from unionization. Service workers are very rarely unionized. Unions are not common in the South, and so I just kind of wanted to, like, give this organization some love and some attention, because I think that it's super, super important. And honestly, I'm probably gonna DM them and try and do something with them, because I just found, like, the resilience of Waffle House employees is what I wanted you to take away from tonight. Like, if, like, the corporate, yes, is important. The resources, yes, it's important. But ultimately, it's the employees on the ground that make all of this happen. So I just wanted to give some love to the people that support the employees, because that's who should have our love. Here are my sources. There was a fucking lot tonight. And this is embarrassing. I'm going to be vulnerable with you guys, okay? This next slide is really embarrassing, but I'm going to be brave and vulnerable. I'm really proud of myself because I did not use any AI on this stream. I know. The bar is on the floor, but I've made streams about, I've used AI in the classroom, I've used it at work, and I just felt like in the last 6 months especially, I could feel myself getting dumber. Like, I could feel myself getting actively stupider. I felt like my writing skills were going away. I felt like my critical thinking skills were going away. I felt like I wasn't thinking of things as quickly as I used to, because I knew, oh, I can have ChatGPT do it. Oh, I can have AI do it. And I have just seen too many mistakes in AI. Like, I have used it. I've never been like, make the stream, but I've used it to, like, help research and put information in different formats and stuff like that. And so, like, I was like, I shouldn't be doing that. Like, I was like, I had found it make too many mistakes, and I could feel myself getting stupider. So I was like, I'm not going to give up my intelligence and my critical thinking, something I think that I'm, like, really proud of and is important, in order to save time to have a worse outcome. You know what I mean? And so that's why I was like, I debated even talking about it with you guys, because, like, I'm not going to tell you that I'm never once going to use AI ever again. Like, I'm not going to commit that. But I was like, I'm tired of using it for writing. Like, I'm tired of it. And I felt like I got in this really bad trap at work. And someone said, like, I use AI so much in the chat, and they said Magic School, which is like a teacher one. This is what I'm going to tell you. I use it very heavily at work. That's also something I'm trying to change. I'm actually being at my same school, but starting a new position in the fall. That information about that coming later. But part of the reason I am making changes is because I was like, teaching is so overwhelming that if you're not using AI, it's impossible to get everything done. There's so much useless paperwork that no one reads that I use AI for. And, like, I would send in a lesson plan written by AI, and then admin would send me back feedback that was written by AI. And I was just like, this is fucking stupid. Like, this is literally just so fucking stupid. And just like, I feel like AI is getting so out of hand. I'm not an anti-technology person. There has been times it's been useful to me. It's been helpful to me. Like, one thing I had it do is I put in all my kids' standards and I had it make a vocab list from the standards. Like, there are very valid, helpful things to use it for, but I felt like it was just getting so out of hand and I was getting so stupid that I was just like, we're done. The snake eating itself. I am for AI. I'm the AI for my department. I read all the emails and I should not. The faculty forwards them to me. I feel like my kids deserve lessons and feedback and assessments written by me. Yeah, like all of that. So like, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to talk about this because I don't really have any definitive statements about AI that I'm never going to use it again or anything like that. But and then same thing, like in grad school, I had to use it a lot for grad school, but doing my stream is something that I love, and I'm at a place with AI where I'm kind of like, I'm only going to use it if I have to use it, as opposed to maybe like 6 months ago, I was like using it for so much stuff because I was so overwhelmed with work that I just felt like I was drowning, and so I was just using it to churn stuff out as quickly as possible. But like, sometimes it would do research for streams that I felt like it didn't do an awesome job on, or I'd find mistakes in it. And then like, I always read through it and I would fix the mistakes, but God forbid I didn't notice it. And I'm like putting something out that's wrong and incorrect. Like, that is horrible to me. So I'm at a place where I'm really trying to like stop using it. I turned off Copilot on my search engine, but it still shows up. So yeah, I'm just like, it's nuance. It's something I don't want to be using. I have used not so much for stream, but very heavily for work. What I will tell you is like the Ashley Madison stream. I did use it a fair amount for that. And that's part of what made me decide to stop using it, because it had so many mistakes and it misinterpreted so many things that I felt like in a way it took me longer, and I was like paranoid. Like going through it, I was like, I'm afraid I'm missing mistakes in this. And it is getting dumber. AI is actively getting dumber. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about that and tell you that I make a commitment, like as the writer, producer, director, everything of this stream. Like I told y'all, I used to have my assistant help with them, but like I just love doing it myself. I feel like it turns out so good. You can tell my passion was like radiating through tonight because I did this myself and like didn't use a computer and didn't use a paid assistant. I love that, and it's such a good feeling. Another reason that, honestly, like, this is dumb, but I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. Do you guys know who Sarah Shower is? She is a huge role model for me. I have been following her since I was very, very young, since her Vine days. And she has a podcast. I don't listen to it, but she posted on her Instagram story where someone was like, do you use AI for research? And she posted a book that was full of tabs, like multiple tabs on each, sorry, I keep burping, multiple tabs on each page. And she said, no, literally just, do you use AI? No. And like seeing her bring that level of fucking attention and detail and rigor and everything to her research and to her work, I was like, that fucking inspired me. Like, to see that, I was like, that's what I want to be doing. And that's another reason why, and I'll tell you guys more in the coming weeks about how I kind of changed my job a little bit. Still teaching, still at the same school, just in a different position. Because I was like, I want to have time to read more. I want to have time to learn more. Like, I feel like for the last 3 years, I've been like working. And I want to just like sit down and be like, let me fucking like develop myself. Like, I want to learn more and like yearn for more information. Yearn is the perfect word. So yeah, I just felt like y'all would be the audience to talk to about this. The one exception was an accident. When I was Googling about the pay, it had like the AI overview of the pay. But then I went and looked on like Indeed and their website. So like I'm not counting it, but it did come up first. I'm sorry. And then next week, very excited about next week. Kind of a play on Miss Redacted's favorite things, but not all of them are things you can purchase. We're going to be doing my lazy person hacks. I really think they're just efficient person hacks, and they're just ways to make your life a little smoother and run nice and smooth. So I felt like this was a really difficult to understand topic. So I wanted to give you one example before next week so you can kind of know what to expect. One example is Spog. Spog is something that I created. Spog is a very, very basic seasoning blend. It is equal parts salt, pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. I do not measure it. I just pour it in and eyeball it. And I put it on pretty much everything because like I use those in almost everything. So why not just put them together and use them? So like I'll take the spog, and then you can see these are my other spices. I have them on magnets on my fridge, so you can just grab them and throw them back on there, and you don't have to like organize them, and it's so fucking nice. That's another one I'll show you. But like maybe I'll have some spog and I'll add some chili pepper and some cumin. Like I don't only use the spog, but because I pretty much use salt, pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder on everything, why not mix them all together? Yeah, some of them are accessibility hacks too, so that's what we're going to be talking about next week. And the person that does my graphics is so cute. She fucking loved the spog. You can tell in like the background of tonight. And let me get our little freaking game, if I can find it. I had it up earlier. Where'd it go? That's not good. X that out. No, it literally disappeared. Okay, perfect. I'll just open a new one. It's fine. Okay. So if you don't know, at the end of every stream, we do a little game about what we learned. Y'all, I almost folded on the game with the AI. Let me tell you, this is a safe space, so I'm going to be honest and brave. So previously, when I was being lazy and reliant on AI, what I would do is I'd make the stream, I would download it, upload it into AI and be like, make questions word for word on this. The answers have to be in there because like AI is stupid. So if you just say make questions based on this, it's going to make like random shit that makes no sense. So I would tell like make questions based on this, and I would have it make like 30 questions, and then I would pick the 10 that I liked. And I was about to do that. Literally, as I typed up I didn't use AI, be proud of me, give me a fucking carrot for doing my internet job. I typed that up, and then I went download and was about to upload it, and I was like, oh my fucking God, I was about to use it. And then I was like, just think, just use your fucking brain and think, you wrote it. And then I made the questions, and it didn't even save any time. Like it was the same amount of time. I mean, like using the AI would have taken the same amount of time. By the time it makes it and I read them and I pick them. Why is AI using our fresh water? Why can't it use gray water or something? I don't want to ask ChatGPT. They're literally uploading Hitler mods to the AI. Like it's bad. It's getting bad and it's getting weird. When I felt like I learned how to use AI about 2 years ago, and at that point I just felt like it was like a tool, and then now I feel like it's overtaking our society and I don't really want to be a part of it anymore. And like, was that partially my fault? Yeah. Were people saying that the whole time? Yeah. But where the hell is this? Did it delete? Oh no, there it is. It just didn't put it in the right folder. And not AI, it being the Nearpod website. And yeah, I just like, this sounds lame, but like I should have listened to the people then, and I didn't. And I mean, I did, but now I'm just like, okay, yeah, you were definitely right. Like I didn't tell them they were wrong. Deep down, I knew they were right. I was just choosing to ignore it. Which game do we want to play? Let's do beach because of the hurricanes. That's perfect. But anyway, at the end of each of my streams, we just do a little easy, fun trivia game about what we learned. There's no prize, just bragging rights. You have a pattern that you've been able to recognize. That's the first step to changing your behavior. Yeah, the link between AI and spiritual psychosis is not great. Exactly. So like when I was introduced to AI, I was like, wow, what a great way to reconfigure information. And then when I saw people like using it as a therapist, using it like with their kids, having kids have AI teach them, I was like, whoa, who the fuck said that? Who the fuck said we're doing that? And that's why I was just like, this is gross. This is really, really gross. I don't even know what Italian rut is. But anyway, this is the little game. I just put the link in the chat. You can join on your phone. You can join in a new tab. You can join on whatever kind of device you want to. You don't need an account. You don't have to pay money. I'm not getting your email. I don't want your data. Yeah, the Italian brain rot. I've heard people say that, but I don't know what it is. It's going to ask you for your name. Put in something fun. If you don't want your real name to come up, put in something fun, flirty, and fabulous. Yeah. I'll give people some time. This was such a good stream. Like, this one really was one for the books, you guys. Dun, 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 dun. I'll give people a couple minutes to join. Oh, someone tagged me in a thing about A-Push and Love Island. I don't watch Love Island, but I respect the culture of Love Island. It's just not something I have the time for. But one day I think I might. Like someone I follow just had a baby, so they're like stuck in their house because babies can't leave the house. And they were like first time watching Love Island because I can't leave my house. And I was like, that's like the exact time to watch Love Island. And like it'll be good for the baby. It'll develop their brains. Sorry if you can hear my snot. I bought a Ninja Creamy today. Why can't babies leave the house? Well, they can. It's just a pain in the ass. Well, like when they're really little, they can get sick really easily. So if it's winter, you probably should not take them in public. Like you can take them on a walk, but you're not really supposed to take babies to crowded places because they don't really have immune systems and they can't get a lot of their vaccines till they're like a little bit older. So they're like really exposed to a bunch of stuff. In a low moment of my life, I asked ChatGPT how to be hopeful and was alarmed by how quickly it pointed to religion and justified my anger as biblical. That's so real for you to admit. And this is a safe place for you to admit that. Like, this is a safe place for recovering ChatGPT addicts. And, like, I was never an addict to that point. But as someone who was using it for too many things, I will recognize you. And I hear you in this moment. If you're not breastfeeding, they aren't getting antibodies. I'm very pro bottle BT-dub though. We listen and we don't judge. Oh yeah, back to the babies. So one, they can get diseases, but the main reason I was referring to, they're just a pain in the ass to leave the house. So infants go to sleep like every 30 minutes and then they have to eat like every 2 hours and then they shit their pants constantly because they're eating constantly. So like they just require a lot of stuff. So people with infants tend to not want to take them out too much. You know? Yeah. My state rep was assassinated. It was a dark time. I'm genuinely not judging you. This is one thing that like I don't want to keep using it for this, but like I've yet to find another alternative, so I'm sorry. When I'm a homeowner and when things are broken in my house, I take pictures of it and put it in ChatGPT and I'm like, hey, what's wrong with this? Because when you try and do that for Google, all you get is like sponsored ads of contractors trying to scam you. So like when I'm just like, literally, what is that item? So if anyone knows a better solution to that, that's not AI, let me know. The Midwest state rep. Yeah, that was relatively recent. It was, where was that? Minnesota? And it really breezed past the news cycle, which was jarring. The 2-hour timer starts when they start eating, not at the end of feeding, so it's fucking constant. Yeah, so like babies eat every 2 hours and it takes 30 to 45 minutes to feed them. So let's say it's 4 p.m. I start feeding a baby. That baby's gonna be full at about 4:30, 4:45. They need to eat again at 6 p.m. Not at 6:45, at 6. So it's like, they're just fucking constant. So why would you take it out of your house? But let me go ahead and start the game. There's 35 of you there. If you have not joined, it will let you join late. I could get a journal for all of that for real. I'm glad we're talking about this, and I'm glad that y'all are not like eating me alive. I was a little bit afraid. But I think it's important to talk about because like I think a lot of us innocently used it as a helpful tool, and then now we're kind of like, oh God, things are not good. What is this from? This is a hard question because I gave you 3 similar answers. I ask Reddit. There's always nerds ready to assist. Oh, that's a good idea. I should make an account on Reddit. I just read. I don't have my own account. I've never posted. What do the 2 founders have in common? We were here for a long time tonight. Thanks for sticking with me. The technology problems really threw us. A Denny's soup spoon is killing me. Where should we go harass the Chacos people about the shoes? I commented on their TikTok, but I would imagine they're on all platforms. Let me look them up. You guys, today I had 100,000 followers on Instagram, which I truly never thought was gonna happen. So like, wow. And I'm shocked how quickly it happened. Chacos. Yeah, I commented on their TikTok. Which one did I comment on? The one that was a picture. I got 28 likes. They didn't reply though. I'm the soup spoon. Chaco. Should I harass Chaco or Waffle House? Because Chaco is where I commented. Oh my god, and even on fucking Instagram. I searched Chaco on Instagram. It sounds like a slur now. To go fucking comment, and the Meta AI gave me a summary of what Chacos are. Leave me alone. Genuinely leave me alone. I'm gonna take a screenshot, or I'm gonna take a picture with you guys. Actually, after the game, I'm gonna put it back to the Waffle House one, and then I'm gonna fucking take a selfie and tag them on Instagram. We're getting this done, people. We are getting this done. This is what we're gonna do. We fucking got this. I want the tan ones that look like a waffle, but that's just me. Chaco would probably be the one that's doing marketing and promo for it. That's what I kind of get, and on Instagram, it's like a collab post. So I'm gonna tag both of them. I know they both have them. Someone will send it to me. Why does Waffle House use their weird ordering system? All of them are right. Actually, I'm gonna take a picture while, ow, I hit my elbow. While you all play the game. Don't look at the back of my head. That was embarrassing. I didn't like doing that in front of you guys. Hey. Okay, and I'm gonna put it on my story, and I'm gonna tag both of them so all of you can go help me get these fucking Chacos. I'm gonna say, I try not to beg on the internet. Why did I pose like I was in the bag? I also posed. Smile pretty for the camera. At Waffle House. At Chacos. Chaco footwear. Okay, I put it on my story, so feel free to comment. I can't think of anyone who has cried on the internet about Waffle House like you have today. It's a very natural partnership. I'm sending them that too. Matter of fact, I'm gonna send them that. TBT to class pics. Oh my god, yeah, before I figured out how to do thumbnails. This company is absolutely a representation of America's best and worst. Spectacular stream. Dare I say a top 10 contender. This one's up there for me. This one is truly up there for me. And I will say, when it comes to using AI for the stream, I did not use it at all for the first like 2 years. And then when I started teaching, I still wasn't using it. And then I hired my assistant, and she was doing a lot of the stream work. And then when I would jump back in, that's when it started, as the last couple months, and I don't like it. Eleanor Gold in first place, Toddles in second, Smothered and Covered, Mega Waffle House, a Wawa parking lot, Upside Down Butter with Blueberries, Jay, Caitlin, a Waffle House parking lot, Amanda, Skyline parking lot, not a Waffle House, it's a Waffle Home, Waffle Amy, Waffle House iPhone, a Denny's soup spoon, and I will scroll through the rest. Lots of Waffle House parking lots. Very, very good to see you all. Thank you, thank you. 4th place. Nice job, Megan LaFlame. Memes, anything to share? How are we feeling? How are we doing? I'm gonna send these fucking screenshots to myself. Airdrop, baby. Boom. I probably won't put this up till tomorrow just because I'm kind of like over it and want to go lay down. Ugh, that screenshot is bad. I'm going to scroll back and screenshot it again. It's like blurry. Or not blurry, but like it's like cropped weird. There we go. Oh my god, I can't wait to look at the memes. Hold on. Let me airdrop this to myself or else I'll forget and delete it. And then I'll look at your memes. I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. This is how I felt when I was teaching on Zoom and I would have like 90 windows open. Okay. Joe Rogers Toddle House, Waffle House. My destination, the Waffle House War Room. Oops, I missed my exit. Waffle House FEMA. Any other source of information? Oh, y'all are funny. Y'all are very, very funny. I'm going to post again on my story and tag them again. I love lay down time. I know, right? Congrats all. And again, congrats to Megan LaFlame. We are very, very proud of you. Like, it genuinely warmed my heart that you told us that and to see that message. Like, to me, this really is a community and you guys are very important to me. So to hear about important things in your life from anybody, but especially from usernames that I've seen for a long ass time, it just like really gets me hype. I love your teaching style. I'm bringing your energy into my first year teaching civics. Ooh, check out, I have a very neglected YouTube channel called E&E Teachers. There's not much on there, but what's on there is very helpful. It's teacher stuff. It's about like how to handle things, first day of school, lots of things like that. Love my E&E Teachers, even though I never post on there, trying to prioritize that more too. But yeah. This was a great time. Thank you to everyone that stuck through the technology issues. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. I hope it was worth it. And next week, I'll show you how to save some time and some energy.